should be live, I think. Waiting for confirmation.
Okay.
Yeah, Melting Man says we have confirmation. Alright. So we're back on this exciting new Sonic Dissected Alive, kinda. A bit of a filler episode. We're just gonna do Fleetway. Because my job has been adding some tasks for me, so I'm a bit tired. Not to mention I have to prepare for April Fools. A lot of things planned, so let's see how many of them I can finish.
Regrets?
Yes, definitely. There's definitely one task I'm kind of worried about. And of course I had to throw a truckload of voice lines to Luke and a couple other voice actors, so... Poor Luke. Oh, well, at least he gets a cartoon of him own that he requested out of it. But yeah, so here we are again. Let's waste some time before we officially start. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I've been fine.
There we go.
Yeah, I've been alright. Just recently I've just been in a kind of big drawn mood with posting pics on DeviantArt and whatnot.
Yeah, what did you draw?
Hold on a second, I'll fish out my most recent drawing that I did, where I just did this pic of Cream the Rabbit and Bingo from Bluey, just having fun on the seesaw at the park. Just a little wholesome pic there, because yes, I have been watching Bluey recently.
What is Bluey?
Oh, it's an Australian, it's an Australian kids show that recently just kind of spiked up with like, oh yeah, it's a kids show, but you know, like adults and older people, yeah, they actually like it and enjoy it. And I've watched it for myself, like, yeah, this is definitely one of the better kids shows because, like, you know, the characters are more likable, they have valuable lessons, they even focus on some more serious topics sometimes. Like, there's one focusing on, like, you know, dealing with death or dealing with death. There's other things, but yeah, it's one surprisingly good show, and people have been going like, "Oh, this show is like the next Bronies," and it's like, yeah, I can kind of see that, even though there's obvious differences. Like My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic is basically a fantasy adventure series with the occasional like slice of life episodes and morals and yada yada. Bluey, on the other hand, is purely slice of life, just, you know, more simple and happy. And I guess that's another reason. Like, oh yeah, it's a fun show, you know, with the characters being all likable and fun as a escape from like harsh reality and whatnot. And even some say like healing their inner childhood, as some people say.
I was just saying, as he's been showing us something he's working on, I thought Mike could show off something I've been working on the last few weeks. Give me a second. The last month, actually, which is the Chuck Throughout the Ages.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
Just a moment, the stream just crashed.
No!
And better yet, I don't think I saved it, so I just ruined completely everything.
Great.
I just wanted to show Melting Man's picture, and I ruined everything. Oh boy.
Oh dear.
Here's my picture. Crash.
The grey screen of death.
Didn't I save anything? Damn, I screwed up today. Oh wait, here it is. Phew. I was worried for a bit.
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we have to stop.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's been a very short stream.
Well, we could have still talked about it, but without any pictures to accompany it. I guess I would have drawn... Oh, and it crashes again. Man, it really doesn't like Melting Man's picture.
I'll
just show it here, then.
I guess it's too big to show it. I guess I could show, like,
the
version that I did on Twitter. That's, like, a more smaller image.
Why do you make it so big, anyway?
I don't know. I guess I just want plenty of room to draw stuff.
When I see a picture of, like, Cream playing in the park there, I've got a bit of a horrible mental image of Tails sitting on a park bench, and for the love of God, don't look up the Tails on the bench meme. Just don't.
Alright, thanks for the warning.
Yes, it's really typical of you, Melting Man, basically just sending Roger, like, a picture that's basically, like, 5,000 pixels wide. No wonder it keeps crashing.
Apparently, yeah, I'm an amateur artist, but I can't. Apparently, I don't know like how big of a picture I need to keep it.
Oh well, I think I just showed it off, and I'll grab Luke's drawing, and I hope that one doesn't crash my computer.
Well, hopefully not.
There it is. Much more sensible. So you keep drawing LeChuck from Monkey Island.
Yeah, pretty much almost every single version, and try to keep true to the original styles.
Awesome. The
Seems
Euan
you
one
okay.
from Telltale, and the weird art style from the latest one.
Yes, from Return to Monkey Island. I mean, people liked the art style, but I didn't mind it. It's like a picture book that come to life.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, then again, isn't like Monkey Island like the most inconsistent when it comes to art style? Like,
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has changed styles over the years. I think I kind of like the third one from Curse due to how it looks like a cartoon.
Yeah, that's my
I'm not.
favorite too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the 3D arts, the style from Escape, as it's trying to be like similar to that of Green Fandango, but it's aged rather badly, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Yeah, Telltale was always kind of cheaply made. Oh well. But yeah, Monkey Island, pretty much every single game is a completely different art style again. So the most consistent one is the Telltale games, I guess, because it's 5 episodes instead of 1 game.
Yeah. I do know, one of the characters from the Telltale version of Monkey Island actually showed up in, Poker Night of the Inventory. Yeah. It was, the short guy that's voiced by Roger L. Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, easy to recycle.
Would that be
assets.
Winslow?
Yeah, Winslow. I think that's his name. Yeah, he
Yeah.
showed up in Poker Night of the Inventory in both games. Kind of acting more as well, in the first game, he introduces the player to the inventory and tells its history, and then in the second game, he's kind of like that, but has a more smaller role. Just occasionally popping up, to claim the bounty, all you have to do is win the tournament. That kind of deal.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that Telltale has went under, because I like the idea of keeping point-and-click adventures alive with setting different worlds and that. Because I've got one based on Monkey Island and one based on Back to the Future, and if they went for this, I would love to see a Telltale series based on Discworld, as that's ripe for for new stories and worlds, and also they have the number of Discworld games as point-and-click games.
That's
Oh, yeah,
true.
that'd be
About 3 of them, yeah.
And maybe released outside of Europe for once, because I know Discworld is pretty much a Europe exclusive franchise.
Isn't there
Yeah,
a
you
recent new movie of Discworld out on Sky?
But yeah, there was a series called The Watch, and it looks absolutely terrible because they've taken like Vimes and they made him look like a crack addict.
I wasn't referring to that. I was referring to Maurice, the cat and the rats. That got an animated adaptation this month, I think.
Oh, you're talking about the Amazing Maurice?
The Amazing Maurice, yeah. That's a Discworld story, wasn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't seem very Discworldy about it. It's sort of like its own thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Art style doesn't really have that grit you expect with Discworld. Oh, and the
Yeah.
wall breaking jokes are terrible. I mean, I know Discworld has a bit of that meta-ness to it, but they kind of treat it more as like a conventional wisdom. Like old lady's wisdom. Like, oh, never fight with an old man who's smiling because you're going to be defeated. Like, they have that knowledge of stories, but they just kind of treat it as normal wisdom. Well, that movie's all completely, I am the main character. I'm going to do this so that the scene continues so we can find the villain. Like, like that level of punching your face for fall breaking. God, I hate that so much. So that's a shame. Discord finally gets a proper big animated adaptation. It's like a terrible one like that. Well, I don't know if it's terrible. I haven't seen it, but the trailer makes me cringe.
Yeah, I think out of all the projects that I think Disney nearly made an adaptation of Mort. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, they were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mort. Yeah, I think that's what Disney was going to do, but that ended up getting canceled.
And of course, Sky made a couple adaptations, including my favorite book, Going Postal.
I like the animated serials myself, especially like Weird Sisters and Soul Music, and because it had Christopher Lee as Death.
Of course, that was perfect casting there, right there. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like the very surreal art style as well.
Yep. That was pretty awesome. I love the music too. Like Soul Music had like full blown like rock and roll music.
Yes, I liked all the parodies to like the music industry in that.
That was pretty awesome.
And I think I saw a clip of that animated one with Christopher Lee voicing Death, and it's like, yeah, when I first heard it, it's like, yep, that's definitely the kind of voice I would expect Death, or at least one of them, yeah.
Although with the risk of making him look very angry at me, I kind of prefer the voice Death had in the first game, where he was played by one of the Doctor Who actors, I think, Pertwee Herman, or
Oh, in the first game, he kind of had a bit of a posh accent, didn't he?
something like that. Yeah. Yeah, Christopher Lee's also awesome as Death, of course, but alas, that ain't gonna happen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And Euan, you have anything to say about the Discworld series, or just waiting for us to get started on Fleetway?
Can't really say too much about Discworld because I haven't watched it properly in a long while. I mean, I do have a bit of a chuckle with like hearing Death calling his horse Binky. That's the right voice, like Binky. There's something I must do. I may be away for some time. Now go home.
Of course, perfect name for Death's.
I believe he did try out other horses. Like he did try a skeletal horse, but the pieces keep falling off. And then he tried getting one with a fire horse, but it kept setting the furniture on fire or something.
That's typical Discworld humor, yeah.
And gifting his granddaughter a My Little Binky.
Oh yeah, I remember that bit.
I also read Pyramids last summer, which is basically a bit of a piss take on Egyptian history and Egyptian mythology. There was a bit where like this old pharaoh who believes he rules over the skies, and he sees that the sun has gone out, and he thought that he thinks it's his fault, so he threw himself off the building. But it turns out it was just hiding behind a cloud.
Oh, ouch.
It's all right. He comes back as a mummy later to help out his son, who joins the Thieves Guild. No, the Assassin's Guild. So there's a little bit of Assassin's Creed in there as well.
Well, before the games were even out.
Yeah.
Terry Pratchett was on the ball.
Yeah, because it does open him doing like his induction test. So there's like you get to read about him like trying to jump over buildings and trying to dodge traps and that.
Nice. Alrighty, yeah. But I guess it's time for Sonic Fleetway now. Even though I would love to do a whole Discworld video someday, but we haven't been prepared for that now.
Yeah.
Discworld Dissected.
Discworld Dissected, yeah. Well, not. I mean, it's already pretty much called comedic series, so not sure if there's much for me to dissect left. Maybe if that Guards TV show comes out, although has it been cancelled? I haven't heard anything about it yet since.
The Watch, yeah, I haven't heard anything new about it, and thank goodness for that.
pretty sure everyone was immediately like, "Oh no." Poor actors. I kind of feel sorry for them, but yeah, that wasn't gonna be it. But right, Sonic the Comic. Euan has been impatiently waiting for us to get started, so why don't you get us going? With our very first story, Beware Predicto.
Yeah, this one.
Predicto.
Yeah. So, okay. Robotnik visits Grimer's lab to witness the awakening of the ultimate trooper that can predict every action Sonic does and counter it. Robotnik asks the christened Predicto trooper where Sonic is, where it states the probability he is at Mushroom Valley on the floating island. While Robotnik's annoyed that Predicto would have to deal with Knuckles as well, Grimer ensures that the trooper not only has Knuckles' data, but also the other freedom fighters. Happy by this, Robotnik sends out Predicto to destroy Sonic's friends and such. On the floating island, Sonic grumbles about being bored whilst complaining about Knuckles, as the others want him to join them in fighting Robotnik, but just then Predicto turns up and immediately counters Sonic's spin attack, with Predicto introducing itself whilst countering all the other freedom fighters' moves. Sonic makes another attempt at attacking, but Predicto moves to one side, resulting in Sonic running into a tree. Predicto is about to squash Sonic with a huge rock, but then realizes one of them is unaccounted for, with Predicto then punching his fist into the ground and pulls out Knuckles and flings him into some mushrooms. With Predicto grabbing the rock again and raising above his head to squash Sonic, the Hedgehog admits defeat and wanting to be squashed, leaving Predicto to malfunction from this unexpected turn of events and eventually bloat itself up from an overload. Tails asks how Sonic defeated Predicto, with him responding that he just did the opposite to what it was going to predict. Knuckles fumingly tells Sonic to leave his domain, which Sonic gladly agrees to, whilst leaving off with a predictable pun.
The end. Man, I'm so glad that computers in the real world don't explode when they don't know what to do anymore. Or I would have just exploded just this stream already.
Just like saying, what's 0 divided by 1, and just all the computers explode.
Pretty much, yeah. Yep, as usual, pretty awesome art style.
Yeah, from Casanovas.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite interesting. You got this all the characters have this 2D art style, and you got this hyper realistic looking robot character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like its design though. It's like, because of it being like, it's cherry color with like shiny black and like with gold trim on him and such. Just makes him look like, snazzy.
Yeah, like an elite version of the regular SWAT bots.
I do find his name a bit weird as well, because that's like something you would call a stage magician. Introducing the Great Predicto!
Pretty much, yeah. They're even doing a bit of a Frankenstein kind of thing at the beginning. Like, it's it's alive!
Yeah,
That's
it's alive, Grimer!
Then again, Grimer himself looks like the Frankenstein monster, so that's fitting.
Well, more sort of like a greener version of Igor.
The Igor, yeah.
Yes,
master.
Yes, Doctor. Oh, yes.
Speaking of Discworld, yeah. I'm happy that Amy finally wears her proper clothes. They keep putting her in the stupid caveman dress.
Yeah, leotard. Yeah.
Leotard, whatever it's supposed to be.
Yeah, eventually though, this could probably the final time we see her in her classic dress. I mean, there might be later on she might wear it in like an odd panel, but for the most part, the final time we properly see her in that get up.
Yeah. Also, there's this storyline we're running now that Robotnik's not supposed to know that they live in Mushroom Hill now. It's kind of rude now because Predictor pretty much told them they're in Mushroom Hill.
Well, technically though, it's called Mushroom Valley and not Mushroom Hill.
Oh, it's a different location. Oh, that's cheating.
Yeah.
That's confusing.
I know, because even when I was like reading through it, I assumed like he said, the robot's going to know that they're going to be over there, Mushroom Hill, but then I realised, it says Valley, and no zone.
Oh, so they're not there. Okay. Well, they really shouldn't have used mushrooms then. That's kind of confusing. Yeah. Oh well.
But then again, we obviously decided to go for mushrooms because they wanted to show off Predicto's amazing mushroom throwing skills.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked if it just threw him onto rocks, I guess.
I do find it a bit odd looking to see Sonic closing his eyes, because instead of like two massive slits, he does have two tiny closed eyes inside his eyes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that weird detail.
Sonic with eyes closed is always a mystery for people to figure out.
Yeah,
Even I don't have any consistency with it. Oh well.
I think it's more just for like the classic Sonic look, because like with modern Sonic, we always see he has like eyelids and whatnot. But classic Sonic, it's always been inconsistent. It's like sometimes he has eyelids, sometimes it's the eyes that blink shut.
Oh well, an alien being. I guess he can do whatever he wants.
But yeah, also the first appearance of Knuckles drawn by the artist.
All right, cool.
Doesn't look too bad, although in the last panel it looks as though Knuckles is literally just wearing like an entire neck brace as opposed to like a necklace.
Yep. But even
because
this artist goes with the metal thing instead of it being part of his body. The Nike logo.
Yeah, and as per usual, like serious looking robot, but when they blow up, they die in a comical fashion with a comical face.
Classic, yep. Well, guess not much to say. Fun episode.
Well, one thing I could point out, I think it's due to the font. But in the panel where Sonic says, "Suits me, Wormhead," the U looks like a H a bit. So it looks like, "Suits me, Wormhead."
Yeah, I had a problem as well. Oh well. Also kind of pathetic for a robot who's all about predicting things, that he's still gonna explain his plot and talk about what he's doing. So if you're really that good at predicting, you should just immediately kill them without wasting any time. But oh well. Kids comic, I guess.
Yeah, should have blown up right at the start, where it's like, nope, I'm just going to blow myself up because we know how this is going to go.
That'd be kind of depressing. That'd be perfect, yeah. He can predict the future and really kills himself. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not a good future. That's a kind of, that would be a fun twist, yeah.
I'm just spending like a quick moment just looking at the artwork, because this is apparently the artist's last contribution to the comic.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a shame. I love the backgrounds and all that. Especially the beginning, the first panels look really amazing.
Oh yeah, with all the electronic detailing.
Yep. And grimy
Like him having a lot of fun drawing all those tiny details.
Yeah, you British artists really love the small details. Kind of reminds me of Don Rosa a lot. Pretty awesome, yeah. Of course, that's to be expected from the Judge Dredd team.
Yeah, I think there's at least one moment in the art, in like the submitted artwork, that talks about Sonic dressed up as Judge Dredd, even though I wouldn't know if it was Sonic. But that's later on.
Indeed, well, just the body shapes, I guess. Actually, Judge Dredd will show up later on because they did a game review on it. But,
oh yeah,
that's full.
Yeah, I think because the movie was out around that time.
Yep.
Yeah, it was coming out around that time.
1995. That's where we are right now. Yep. Right. Shall we move on to the next?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Knuckles Chaotix was released, so that got its official review. Very high. I was kind of surprised to see it 88%. Because the game feels kind of unfinished and all that. But,
yeah. I mean, obviously that's why the graves could be more challenging.
Yeah, definitely. But of course, the Sonic magazine has to be very positive about Sonic games. So.
Well, not all the time. I think there's been the odd few Sonic games that have received like, scores.
Oh really? Which ones? I don't remember. Sonic Labyrinth or something.
I think so. I don't know if they actually reviewed Labyrinth, but I think they did give Drift a pretty low score.
Ouch, poor Drift. Oh well.
Yeah, I haven't played Knuckles Chaotix. Like, I want to, but of course it's one of the many games that Sega's too damn lazy to port it on.
Well, that's because only about 100 or less owned a 32X.
Yeah, it's never been ported. So you have to play it with emulator.
Yeah, I'll have to find an emulator. Although I've heard talks that the game was ported onto something, and that was GameTap. That was like this old PC online browser thing, but that's gone the way of the dodo for years. So, so I don't really feel like wasting so much money on like a Genesis console and a 32X add-on. So I already blew off a lot of money just getting Tail Crescendo. So yeah, it's off to emulators for me.
Fair enough, yeah. I think I did get it to work once, but yeah, I really hate the gameplay style, so I didn't really play that much of it.
Yeah, had a bit of a small play of Chaotix, but didn't get that far with it. Because, trying to use the keyboard and such.
Yeah, that's so weird to you? I grew up on DOS games like the Commander Keen and Just Jackrabbit, so I'm used to playing with a keyboard.
Well, I did grow up playing the Commodore Amiga, so... But this was obviously like me playing like a game that was made more for a controller than like a keyboard.
Fair enough, I guess so. But hey, you should be able to map your controller on most emulators. So.
Yeah, at least now I know that.
Yeah, because I've been using just my plug-in Xbox controller for playing Steam games or whatever from the N64 emulator thing that Roger helped me out with.
There you go. Don't say it out loud that we're doing illegal stuff. Yeah, that was for the Sonic mod fan game, so there you go.
Yeah,
we didn't do anything illegal. Please forgive us.
I don't know. It kind of feels like emulation's kind of been more in a gray line nowadays, but who knows?
Yeah, the official companies use it as well, so there you go.
Yeah, I mean Sonic Origins is proof of that. Ha ha.
Well, they did port it officially rather than emulate it, but close enough, fair enough. Anyway, Knuckles Total Chaotix Part 2. Anyone wants to do a synopsis of Metal
Yeah,
Sonic?
I'll have a quick go. Okay, so it starts off in the special zone where we see two Metallixes coming out, which is quite interesting. We would see like more than one Metal Sonic here, but of course they're called Metallics here. The Chaotix, who've been set up by the Omniviewer, believe that Knuckles is still working for Robotnik, but he tries to tell them they're on the same page. But they don't believe him. So Mighty goes out to take down Knuckles, which he dodges. Then Mighty goes in to rescue Mighty. Charmy goes in to rescue Mighty.
What did I say?
So Knuckles encounters Espio, who tries to throttle him to death. And then he throws Espio into Knack, or Fang, or Jim, whatever you call him. So then he's face to face with Vector. So he just punches him in the jaw. But the Omnivore says, "Stop! I've been checking up on Knuckles. Yeah, he's all right." So
I just had to refresh my browser there.
yeah, I didn't check my information there. Where it turns out he's getting a bit of a skin problem. But then it turns out someone is coming through the screen, which is actually is the Metallics.
Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah, this is a good story. Nice way to introduce the Chaotix with how Knuckles tried to take them down one by one.
Yeah, and gives us like obviously what their skills are in a way. Obviously, with Mighty being the strong one, Espio being sort of like the sneaky type, Vector just obviously being kind of like the leader, Charmy being an annoying little shit.
I'm kind of surprised they already have Charmy's later personality, because in the original game he was supposed to be like the serious one. Well, here he's pretty much exactly like he is in Sonic Heroes.
Also, in the Fleetway version, Charmy having these verbal takes going, "Oh, diddly dee, fiddly doo," and all that.
Hi, diddly ho, neighborino. Go tell Flanders,
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of weird how they portrayed Charmy more like this hyperactive, like annoying character, which is just like how he usually is nowadays. Since this was back in the day when Knuckles Chaotix was a thing. And yeah, I mostly know about how Charmy was the more serious one for that game and Archie Sonic. He wouldn't get the childish personality until much later, even if it didn't go as not as great as Ian Flynn had started.
Oh well, I guess Fleetway was on the ball very quickly. They knew where the wind was blowing, even though Fleetway already didn't exist anymore when Sonic Heroes was finally out. Oh well.
Yeah.
They never made it so far.
Yeah, the next in the gang.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a nice little callback to Robotnik's old egg fortress from like the earlier series, like earlier issues.
Sure.
Because we haven't seen it since, I suppose, issues like 21, 22.
That's a long time ago. That's half the run so far.
But yeah, but one thing for me though, when being, a kid and getting this issue of like seeing Metal Sonic being one of my favorite cats, like, yes, they're back. Time for some fun.
And then they barely do anything in this issue.
Well, they turned up, and to me it's like, yes, they're involved in a story. Yes, sort of thing. Especially considering after like the very short-lived sort of like Mecha Sonic basically just getting decapitated by Super Sonic.
Yeah.
In that issue.
Yeah, and also I don't mind that they're only called the Metallics here, because gives them a more sinister feel to them.
Yeah.
True. Also makes it feel much more like versatile. Like one of just Metal Sonic is like, oh, they're supposed to fight with Sonic, but now they're the Metallics. Now they can fight everyone. Even though Metal Sonic could already do that, but just the way how they sound, it sounds more universal, I guess.
Get a bit of a chuckle from like when Vector tries to be intimidating to Knuckles and tries to stomp his head off, but instead he just gets a fist uppercut right to his jaw.
And bites his tongue. I like how you even draw that. You even see the tongue sticking out of his teeth. Ouch. Yeah. Poor guy. It is kind of fun to see him actually act like a crocodile. You never see him do that in all the other... maybe in Archie, I don't know. But
a little bit in Archie. But
in the games in Sonic X, he never really acts like a crocodile.
And then Knack's just there with the, that kind of confused me. Like last time, how you said like you knew Knack was a dimension traveler, and I'm like, where did that bit of information come from? Is that a Fleetway Sonic only thing, or is that hidden somewhere in the Game Gear manuals?
That's in the Game Gear manuals, yeah. Even though it never made sense to me. I mean, I guess it makes sense because Fang only appears in the special stages in Sonic Triple Trouble up until the final stage. I guess it's based on that. I never really liked that, but oh well.
Yeah, it's weird. I always just thought he was just a random civilian, like, bounty hunter character living in Sonic's world.
Exactly, it makes more sense to me as well.
Yeah.
Special stage always been kind of like a weird, is that real or just a video game gimmick kind of thing? How serious am I supposed to take it? But oh well, at least Fleetway and Archie tried to make sense of the special stages, even though the games never really had any kind of backstory for it. It's just kind of there, I guess. But yeah, that was this story. Guess we move on to the next issue.
Next issue, yeah.
We talk about Sparkshell later. So for now, Sonic: The Great Escape. Anyone wants to do a synopsis of the story with Robotnik's wonderful little face on a building? You and Luke, are you still there?
I'm still here. Yep.
Already. Okay, fine. I guess I'll do the synopsis this time. Let me. So Robotnik has his own new headquarters with his wonderful face showing design into it. How wonderful. Anyway, so Robotnik hears for the first time that the Emerald Hill Zone has been deserted. Nobody lives there anymore, so he immediately beats up the messenger robots. Guess he never learned about don't shoot the messenger rules. Well, meanwhile, Sonic and his friends are still acting like they're performers in a caravan traveling the world. We get this cool scene where the robot just holds a gun right at Sonic's face. Good to see that Fleetway weren't too bitches about that. Here we just have realistic guns shoved in everyone's face, just like I like it. But yeah, so Sonic immediately beats them up, and Porker's angry at him because he wanted to do it sneaky, but Sonic's like, this is way more fun. But anyway, our heroes found what they were looking for, a factory, because apparently some of the Emerald Hill citizens are still there, being enslaved and are about to turn into robots. So Sonic and friends are about to invade and try to rescue them. In the factory, the boss is like a giant crocodile or alligator kind of thing, who whips everyone around, and our heroes try out dress up like Batniks, which looks very hilarious to me. But of course our... wait, it's not it's a raptor, isn't it? Instead of a crocodile. It looks kind of like a raptor. I just call it a raptor. He knows about it because he's super smart and can smell them or something. And now Sonic has to fight. The end for now.
I just thought he was just a lizard guy.
Doesn't Tails look lovely as a clown?
Yeah, he just likes it. Yeah, all like cheerful. It's like, we're gonna go on a dangerous mission. Guys.
And Johnny with his stupid mustache. Groucho Marx mustache. Amy looks cute, though. That fits well with a tarot card reading. But yeah, so this story, I kind of like they finally used their... What's the name? The more performers element. Because that was kind of introduced in one comic, but they barely used it. So
the Bob Leakey circus deal, yeah.
Exactly. Like, they didn't really do much with it, so I kind of like that they brought it back, even though they still don't really do that much with it. But I like that concept.
In the earlier page where the Robotnik was brandishing a flower vase, I thought that was a very long glass that he was drinking.
Yeah, I had to look a couple times over, too, because they never established he has a vase with roses in his office. It's so out of place for Robotnik as well, anyway.
Yeah.
Out of character. So I was looking a couple times, too, like, what is that what he's holding? But yeah, I guess it has to be a vase with flowers, even though it's never established.
Yeah. But yeah, nice that we get like an introduction to his new sort of like permanent base now, which is basically just, literally a building of his space. Shows how egotistical he is.
Yeah, I do find it a lot more imposing than the one in Invasion of Sonic the Hedgehog is just this big version of him just pointing. But this one looks a lot more sinister.
This is awesome. Yeah, also, almost looks like a death from Star Wars. Death. I keep wanting to say Death Egg.
I suppose it's a bit similar to the Senate building on Coruscant.
Oh, right, yeah, that too, kind of. But it is kind of Star Warsy, yeah. Pretty awesome. And kind of funny, he has his own secretary. I like it when Eggman has all these weird, mundane details about him.
And I just kind of find it funny with how like the generals are kind of designed. Like one of them's got like a bunch of like reds, but yeah, he's got a bald patch on the top, and the other one's got like a monocle and a beer gut.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they kind of have that Warhammery look to them because you could probably like see them resembling like the Space Marines a bit, or the Mechanists, or whatever they're called.
Sure, could be an inspiration. Makes sense. So yeah, great comic. A lot of stuff being established.
Yeah, I like Robotnik's new base where it's just a big head of him. It's kind of like if it's kind of like a Sadie M version of if they stuck with the Adventures of Sonic design of Robotnik. It's like, yeah, that's Robotropolis Adventures of Sonic style.
Kinda, yeah.
The hybrid between the two.
Yeah.
Makes sense. He kind of looks like the other version anyway. The more cartoony Robotnik.
Design of the slave driver as well, because he looks a bit sinister as well.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome when you just randomly put dinosaurs everywhere. Sonic should use more dinosaurs. That's true.
I assume it's. I can't really tell if it's either a crocodile or an alligator, because in the later issues it kind of is. He does seem to resemble more like he's either one of those.
His body type reminds me of the enemies from Donkey Kong Country, kind of. But his face reminds me more of a raptor. Maybe he's just a fantasy creature. And
he does kind of resemble a Kremling a bit.
Yeah. Kremling, yeah.
Yeah, I really love the fact that there's much more teamwork now. Because so far they haven't really done much teamwork. So it's always Sonic doing everything and everyone else just gets insulted. Here's like much more of a team effort. And I love the fact they really like reintroduced the more oppressive sense again. Because I have kind of missed that a lot. Because last couple of issues were more game adaptations. Here we really get back to Robotnik is the rule of the world, and everyone is enslaved and have to be rescued. So
yeah, and also they brought back like the classic badniks after so many issues of the Robo Troopers.
Yeah, that's true too. Even though they're now just like clothes for the heroes to wear instead of like actual badniks. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. It really has a Sonic CTM vibe to it. Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's probably why the jail warden or the crocodile guy basically noticed the classic badnik says like, wait a minute, why are you guys here? Because they're like older models. From
that
Sonic
makes sense,
2.
sure. Now we're Knuckles Chaotix, can only use those badniks. No.
And of course we can't forget about poor old Billy. The one that basically lost it, saying like, look at us waiting to be turned into badniks like lambs to the slaughter.
And poor Billy couldn't take it anymore.
Kind of fun, like, that character gets a name, but yet the jail warden doesn't.
That's interesting, yeah. No respect for the villains. Poor jail warden.
I don't know why, though, but when I was reading the that whole part where like Sonic jumps in between the two troopers and the other trooper shoots the other trooper as it says no. For some reason, I just kept imagining like it in your voice for some reason on one of your older IMP animations when like Henrik basically is about to like punch a Smurf off your head and you go no.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just pretty much like that.
No.
I kept chuckling so much about that.
No.
Actually, it says don't and not no.
Yeah,
Don't. Poor SWAT bots.
Oh,
All right. Shall we move on to the next one?
can do.
Unless someone wants to talk more about Clown Tales. Oh well. Time to Total Chaotix Part 3. Who wants to do the synopsis?
I guess I'll do this one.
All right.
Let's gotta dig out the pages here.
Fair enough. Take your time.
Do, do, do.
Well, the Omni viewer screams and asks for mercy. Oh.
Okay, here we go. Total Chaotix Part 3, where we last picked up where someone's getting through the Omniviewer, and it turns out, oh no, it's the Metallics, and Vector's trying so hard to keep them out, but then Metallics is like, we don't need those guys. This is who we're really after. So they pull out this device, and they suck in the Omniviewer itself. And so now the portal's gone. They're kind of stranded there. So like, all right, we gotta find some way to rescue the Omniviewer. And of course, out of the teammates, Nak is the one who doesn't trust Knuckles. It's like, I don't trust this guy. He worked for Robotnik. And this feels like, yeah, well, the Omniviewer just updated it. He says he's on his good side. And Nak's like, yeah, I still don't trust him. So they're like, okay, we're gonna go. So we're going off. It's like, okay, we're gonna go and save the Omniviewer. Whee! And then we cut back to Robotnik's Death Egg Fortress, where he's no longer there, but now it's occupied by the Metallics, where we see its big ruler, the Metallics Emperor, who's looking over the Omniviewer that they've captured, and they begin to transfer his data into something for their own evil purposes. In which we cut back to the Chaotix, like, all right, we're gonna bust through this Death Egg here, and Mighty's like, oh, I'll take care of this. Like, wait, no. So it breaks a big hole in the fortress. It's like, oh, great, Mighty, now you set off the freaking alarm system, and that's where the story ends.
To be continued. How exciting!
Typical Mighty being the one that just basically like, hey, I'm strong enough to do this. No, Mighty, wait, punch.
Well, it looks like he's punching himself.
Yeah, almost.
Why are you hitting yourself, Marty? Why are you hitting yourself?
Yeah, it's SBO making him hit himself.
Just him like literally just missing it and just punching his own gut.
His fist bounced off the metal surface. That'll be funny. Mighty's taking Knuckles' place because Knuckles actually smart now. I kind of like Vector trying to hold on to the Omniviewer and trying to do something. He has no idea what he's doing. Just gonna pull and do something. His tongue out of his mouth.
Yeah, as per usual, it's like, gotta have the tongue.
Love those little details. Man, the metal Sonic Emperor looks really creepy. There's something about that.
Yeah, I like it as well because it makes me think of the Dalek Emperor.
Yeah, because from what I've read about, like, that was something that they weren't actually intending on doing, but when people made the reference about it, they just went with it. Because it was around that time because Doctor Who was off the air, so obviously there was no new Doctor Who stuff that made people pay attention to that sort of thing, and I thought, we could just about get away with it.
Yeah, after that, I was like, yeah, now I can just hear the Metallics just with the Dalek voices. So, like, the Dalek Emperor is all like, the Omniviewer is ours. Now go and destroy the intruders. I obey.
And also, the Metallics have similar purpose to the Daleks as well. They want to wipe out everything that's non-Metallics.
Nice.
Yep, all that's missing is the exterminate catchphrase.
Yeah.
Hey, if the Japanese Sonic's constantly stealing from Dragon Ball and Star Wars, why can't the British Sonic steal from Doctor Who, right?
I'm surprised we didn't. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen that many references of Doctor Who in the series. I figured, like, it's UK, so you'd think they would have done that by now.
Well, I have seen something that's a bit like Doctor Who in a much, much later issue.
Oh, really? Is Sonic having his own screwdriver?
Well, basically, it involves Sonic taking down this enemy who has this device that looks a lot like the Doctor's TARDIS terminal.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, I know there was one issue where Tails references the third Doctor's catchphrase, the whole reverse the polarity, the neutron flow bit.
And of course, you got Robotnik going from classic Robotnik to Adventures of Adventures of the Hedgehog Robotnik, in a bit similar to Regeneration.
Oh yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
But I suppose you could also now understand, Roger, why when I usually voice Metal Sonic, I always make it sound like a Dalek.
Oh, it's this comic's fault.
Oh, so it was intentional then?
Pretty much. But also because I found out how I could actually modulate it on Audacity.
Oh, fair enough. Alrighty.
And now you know.
And knowing is 5% of the battle.
But what's the other 95% besides knowing? Dying.
Cheeseburgers.
Yeah, exactly. Screwing around with Audacity's settings. All right, shall we move on to the next issue?
I also like to point out the really cool panel of Knuckles teaming me up with the Chaotix, because you've got a really nice group shot there.
Yeah, they really love doing those group shots. Later comics also have a couple. Knuckles always has a weird pose. But I kind of like it. They always give them exaggerated poses, kind of as if they were already predicting the Sonic Adventure era, where they also always have those exaggerated poses. That's kind of cool.
I'm not sure why though, but when I keep thinking about the exaggerated poses that they're all doing in the comics, my brain just keeps going to Beast Machines, where basically, the company that animated them were so proud of what they were doing, they just had the characters do all these awkward poses every time they spoke a sentence.
Yeah.
Nice. Here it looks like everyone hates air and is always punching the air. Take this, air, and Knuckles is kicking the air. Espio is punching the air.
Vector's just striking a pose because he's realizing, oh wait, I'm supposed to be going. I'm not supposed to be doing a pose.
Yeah, quick, pretend like you're riding a horse.
All the others are at least kind of looking like they're walking away. Vector's just standing there with both feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of looks like he's all like, "Screw you guys, I'm doing him."
Fitting, regardless, considering what happens next. But yeah, cool group picture indeed. Anyway, next, Sonic the Comic, where Sonic has to fight the raptor, crocodile, alligator, or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a really cool cover, because he's taking on a head-on on a horrible dinosaur creature.
Sonic's brushed with bad breath. Oh, this whole episode is going to be about dentistry.
Yeah. Now I'm just thinking of Red Dwarf with Ace Rimmer fighting a crocodile. And
Oh, really? How did they film that with the special effects?
Well, they had a rubber crocodile, and there was a point where he holds the mouth open, and the crocodile basically just belches into his face.
What episode is that?
Stoke Me a Clipper.
Oh, with Ace Rimmer. Yeah, I got you now. It was riding it. Yeah, I got you now.
Red Dwarf, another series. Does Sonic make a lot of reference to that either, too? I haven't seen it.
No, I think that was just coincidental, because that series came out in '97.
All right, so we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Then we go to The Great Escape Part 2. Guess I should finish it then. So they broke into the factory with our raptor alligator guy. Sonic's trick of dressing up like Batniks didn't work. Sorry. So it's time for Tails, Caveman Amy, Sonic, Johnny, and Porker to start fighting. And so they do. So they all start kicking ass. Amy has a weird trick shot that bounces and ricochets off everyone. All the while, Tails and Porker are doing something secretive. They have a secret plan or secret device that nobody knows about yet. Anyway, Sonic has to deal with the alligator guy and just kind of grabs the whip and just ties him up. And that was the big fight, and it was kind of disappointing. Anyway, the prisoners are all happy. They're running away, and they're sending them into the closet. So the bad guys think, you idiots, you're trapped now. Until realizing they should never be able to fit in there, and then it's revealed, ta-da, they have a teleporter device. So everyone's sent to the special stage, I guess, or not. I'm not sure how this thing works. But anyway, the alligator, after failing to whip Sonic, tries a new trick, which is doing the same thing again, which has the exact same results again. So the poor alligator is tied up and spins around like a spinning top. But now Sonic is no longer with his friends, has to stay behind, but he somehow has a flying refrigerator or whatever, I didn't follow. So Tails and Amy are worried while Sonic's flying around, searching for more people to rescue. The end. While Robotnik looks lovely.
Oh yeah, looking like he really wants to kill us for just reading his baby.
That's Robotnik for you.
Yeah, any closer I'd be more terrified.
Definitely, yeah. Are they a marble zone there with Tails and Amy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the marble
cool.
zone on Floating Island.
I love the artwork for the backgrounds. Nice color use. But yeah, it was a fun episode. I really loved the whole CTM vibe of them breaking to the factory and rescuing prisoners. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how it seems like they have the star pose, but they act more like the warp rings, or at least traveling to one place to another instead of being sent to the special stages.
Yeah, that's why I was confused as well. But then again, I guess the rings sent you to a special zone, while the star posts have a different bonus level. I guess that counts differently.
Maybe.
I have no idea.
Well,
I
in
mean-
Sonic 1, it's the warp rings. Then in Sonic 2, it's the star pose. And then in Sonic 3, it's kind of more of like, okay, the rings send you to the special stages, while the star pose just send you to a bunch of random mini games.
Yeah, so I guess we're operating on Sonic 3 Knuckles logic.
I guess
here.
that's where he's been sent.
What, them all being sent into like a mini game room whilst they're all bouncing all over the place
Yeah.
before eventually arriving at Marble Zone.
That would have been funny if you saw him in a special stage casino, yeah.
Yeah, they're stuck in a casino one. Yeah.
Missed opportunity, I guess. Awesome
I
face
think-
expressions as usual. I love the Raptor looking like this. When he sees the
yeah.
star pose, he's like, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I just find that funny. It's just like him going, huh?
Love those face expressions, yeah.
And he's like, I'll get you. Just like, huh? Again.
Yeah.
Exactly, like the Tim Allen, huh?
Yeah.
There we go. Now we finally know what the name of the garden, the warden is. Tim Allen.
A reference to the Home Improvement video game.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah,
Oh yeah, you were fighting dinosaurs too. There we go.
Yeah.
That's his name, Tim Allen. We found it out.
Yeah, we've got
I also noticed in the very first panel the warden guy looks really chubby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Showing off that ass.
I don't know, maybe he should like was holding it in the whole time, but the moment he saw Sonic, he's like, huh? He just let it all go because he just realised, oh shit, it's Sonic.
Yeah.
That'd be funny, yeah. I kind of love how Johnny looks like in his robot armor. Almost looks like a stormtrooper with his helmet off. A green stormtrooper.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised he's able to hold it, considering the fact it's a slicer.
Ooh, ouch. I'm surprised they all fit in those tiny bat necks anyway.
Yeah, but then again, no one really questioned about how, like, you know, Sally, Bunny, and Antoine were able to fit in SWAT armor.
Yeah, that is true. Like, they're not on stilts or anything. It's just, oh, they just so happen to manually control everything.
Yeah.
Good question. Cartoon logic. Oh well.
And of course, Amy's showing off her skills with the bow and arrow, like trick shot. One hitting
Yeah.
one hitting in one of the bot's groins, and the other in his stomach, and then one in the back of the head.
Pretty awesome. The guy who's hitting the groins with the big eyes open. Like, ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh my nuts and bolts!
There we go. Classic. There comes our toilet humor. It's about time.
Yeah, because of the fact the captain's not here.
There we go.
Yeah.
Got to have it here somewhere.
Now it's your job to bring in the dirty jokes. So, any more dirty jokes left, or shall we move on to the next?
Could move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Total Chaotix Part 4. Who wants to do a synopsis?
Ooh, before we start, I don't know if we should show this because I was looking through the graphic zone with Sonic dressed in characters from all over the world and periods of history. There's a very questionable one with a Chinese version of Sonic.
Oh yeah, that one.
Oh, yes, that one.
Yup.
Uh-huh.
Back
Yeah.
in the old days when stuff like that was, you know, passable, but nowadays
Yeah.
everyone's like,
Yeah.
no, you
Yeah,
cannot do that anymore.
Yeah, that was back in the 90s where they could still get away with some of that, yeah.
Should I look
Oh,
it
well.
up, or is our stream going to
Nah.
get deleted if I show it?
No. Nah. Hold on, I'll just quickly screenshot it. Via that
I also noticed there's like an
actually works.
Egyptian themed pic with Robotnik, where it's like, oh, there's like a staircase leading up to his belly button, and apparently he has like very like stick-like legs.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. Oh, and French Knuckles. That's an interesting look.
Funny enough, when I think of French Knuckles, I'm reminded of one of Roger's old animations, Sonic and the Treasure Hunt, where he had some guy with this outrageous French accent voicing Knuckles.
Oh, yeah, I
well,
think I
whatever.
know that one.
Well, whenever I see Knuckles in a beret type of hat, the most I can usually think of is Onux, the anti-version of Knuckles from Archie Sonic, which is literally
Oh, yeah.
just, oh, I'm not Knuckles, I'm Knuckles wearing a silly hat. Ooh. Yeah, it's a very short-lived character there.
Yeah.
So there's our wonderful Chinese Sonic, or Korean, or Taiwan, or
Yeah.
whatever it's supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Yes, this would be.
and then Demo Man,
Sonic.
and then Demo Man from Team Fortress 2 barges in saying, "That's racist."
There you go. Ah,
But
the
you-
90s. How wonderful.
I do
Yeah, and
chuckle
also I want to
at-
point out this really cool panel from Kid Chameleon with like all these
Oh, right.
skeletons being blasted to pieces by this undead-looking robot thing. It's like, you will die, they die, skeletons.
Yeah, definitely imagine this would be your sort of cup of tea.
Yeah, just make it. I would love. I mean, I don't know if this actually happens in Kid Chameleon, because I would love a whole game like this without this undead creature mowing down skeletons everywhere on a
Yeah.
tank.
It
Yeah.
does happen in Kid Chameleon, but it's very chibi, so it doesn't
Yeah.
look as awesome as it does here.
Aw.
I can look up
Yeah,
for a
they
couple
do.
screenshots if you want.
Yeah, artistic licensing. But yeah, it does look pretty cool though. It's like, because when I saw it, it's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Because like,
Yeah, might you think there's actually a game like this? Where it's like you go actually play Kid Chameleon, it's like, oh,
yeah. Because like in the games, it's like, oh, cute and chibi sort of thing. But then when you get to read the Fleetway, it's like evil, death, and skeletons, and you play as a giant skeleton mech tank.
Well, it does happen. It just looks cute. But,
Yeah.
Because in the game you can change up in all kinds of costumes. There are some pretty cool ones that look like slasher killers and all that. But yeah, it's just very chibi style. Like, I'm looking for more screenshots. Because
I
this
suppose
outfit
Ghost-
kind of looks like a predator, for example. It's kind of hard to
Right.
see. But sorry,
I
Nick.
suppose the closest thing to this would probably be the indie game Valfaris, which is like sci-fi metal, and also there's they're doing a new Valfaris game, which is like a space shmup, but it kind of has a theme of like badass blowing things to pieces on a heavy metal inspired universe.
Sure. I mean, when look at this screenshot, for example. Your hero is now dressed up like Jason from the slasher killer movies, and the bad guys are creepy-looking monsters. But it's still kind of very cute-looking,
Yeah.
so I don't think you found it very badass.
No,
That's-
that's why
that's
the
Kid
artistic
Chameleon.
liberties.
That's Kid Chameleon, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing a little bit of that from Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection.
There you go. Yeah, it's a Sega classic. I was never very good at it, but it's kind of fun. But right, back to Knuckles, Total Chaotix Part 4. Who wants to do the synopsis?
Do you want to do it, Euan?
Luke?
Yeah, I'll do it as a. So basically, with the Emperor Metallics is aware about Knuckles and the Chaotix infiltrating the base. So he tells the Omniviewer that their efforts are doomed. So the team enter into the base, and as the alarms are stopped, Mighty and SBO have a bit of an argument, which Knuckles tries to break off. Vector finds a vent to sneak in, which is surprising how they managed to fit in there. So as they come in, Knack does a bit of a runner, and Vector, now seeing that we're all surrounded, says, I guess we all surrender, I guess. So the Metallics just blast them all and kicks all their asses, which apparently makes Charmy reminded of a party, which party. So, the Metallics is blasting everything, the ceiling's coming down, but then Knuckles comes and says, right, I'm going to sort you out, mate. And and Knuckles say, yeah, that's me, now I'm going to beat the crap out of you.
Yes.
There you go, Knuckles at his best.
Though I do left wondering, like, what exactly type of party has Charmy been to that involves him having people being flung at him?
Probably some type of party at a bar.
Yeah.
A dwarf
like a
tossing
mock pit.
contest? He looks like a dwarf. Or he's the size of a dwarf.
But yeah, I just find it fun, like, with Metallics, he decides, like, he doesn't just, like, grab everyone, just flings them out, he just blasts them out the vent. Like, I don't need ventilation.
Pretty awesome, yep.
But it also gives us, like, a glimpse of how Mighty and Espio interact with each other. So we get to see a few more times in the future when Mighty and Espio basically have their tiffs with each other.
Now we finally know why Mighty's kicked out of the Chaotix team later on. Espio threw him out. Because Espio is the original detective anyway, so I guess he has the last say on it.
Well, in the games anyway, yeah.
In the games, true.
Something I seem to notice, though, that seems to start with this comic is where, with the metallics, they gradually start to lose their sort of like black pupils, and they just simply have pure, like, round red eyes.
Oh, I didn't notice. But yeah, good point. It does make them look more demonic.
Yeah, more sinister.
Yeah.
So that's kind of work in a way.
I also noticed that in one panel where the Metallic's saying that resistance will only cause further pain, and I felt like this might be a bit of a nod to the Borg.
Probably.
Resistance is futile, yeah.
Resistance is painful.
Resistance is useless.
Wonderful voice. Very badass.
So yeah, from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay. I'm not too familiar with that, sorry.
Oh, might be your cup of tea, Roger.
Maybe, yeah. I know a couple of things about it, like the Dolphin song, but I haven't really watched it full. We'll see. I'll look into it someday.
Oh yeah, this was the one in question. Just looking at the speed lines, and it's that Sonic dressed as Judge Dredd, which just looks very wonky for some reason.
I didn't prepare, so I'll look.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's near the end of the
It's
book.
very strange.
I know. I'm kind of surprised that they assume it's Sonic.
Yeah, it looks like part of his shoulder got bitten off or something. He's wearing a big tie. Yeah.
Kind of odd that he has like a tie that's more like a sword.
Yeah.
That's I never would have guessed that's a Judge Dredd or a Sonic. So
Yeah, it makes me think it would be like a cat, because like it almost looks like it has pointed ears, and then you see like this weird thing next to it that kind of looks like a tail.
Yeah.
So yeah, Judge Dredd Sonic and Lord of the Rings Amy. What a pair. Sonic Movie Madness 2.
Sonic Movie Madness. Yeah,
What, the
Sonic Movie
sequel,
Madness, the unwanted sequel.
No, with Judge
Yeah, I was
Dredd.
going to say the sequel. Sonic becoming a judge, being like, I am the law.
I am the law.
You betray the law. Law.
Oh boy. No, don't again. I
I
have
had to
Sylvester
use- I
Stallone
took
fight
that.
Carl Urban. What's that? What was that?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry for interrupting you, Euan.
No worries. But yeah, even on the little picture, it says like, Judge Dredd is coming out in July in theaters.
Of course, they have a little bit of interest. I mean, they are the artists from that series, I guess.
But that's why they're obviously advertising it there, because it's like, we make Judge Dredd comics, so might as well keep on promoting the film, get people more interested in reading our comics.
Yep. Unfortunately for them, I don't think the movie really helped. The Sylvester Stallone one.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I mean, he makes the good Judge Dredd. The problem, though, was like he had to take his helmet off because he's too much of a high-paying Hollywood star to be kept hidden.
Yeah, that's why they should really only hire like stuntmen to play superheroes like that.
Yeah, because he only wore that helmet in a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
Really pathetic.
At least-
Yeah.
At least with Dredd, they kept the helmet on the entire time.
Yep. Carl Urban knows what's
Yeah,
up.
well, I understand they kept trying to make sequels or at least a mini series of it, but it never really took off, which really disappointed me because I would love to see an adaptation of Judge Death, who is like one of my favorite comic book villains.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of surprised the movie did so badly, since everyone on the internet was always positive about it. But yeah, it just goes to show that people on the internet are not that powerful.
Mm.
I think one thing I did like about the 90s Judge Dredd movie was the introduction of Mean Machine, because I kind of like the how they adapted him.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, because like whenever he gets madder, his dial goes up, and if it goes up really high, he's really mad.
I mean, he was like an impressive looking character in like the film. But yeah, enough about Judge Dredd. We've got to focus on Sonic for the people.
There we go. The real badass hardcore series. Well, I guess we move on to the next issue.
Yep, with a lovely shot of Robotnik's crotch.
Oh yeah.
At least his gut. Yeah.
Or his belly, yeah.
Oh yeah. Feel the wrath of my newest weapon, which is blocked off by the. I kind of funny. Yeah, I find it funny that the little black square at the bottom. Yeah, it's like blocking where his crotch is.
Like it's a sensor bar. Censored. Don't look here.
Yeah. Behold, Big Willie.
He's,
I turned my fingers into a giant dinosaur monster!
Oh yeah.
he's big. He's bad. It's Bingus. Bingus.
Yeah, now we just gotta wait for someone to edit that cover where like the dinosaur is replacing the black square.
But yeah, even the tagline, yeah, he's big. It's like, no, I don't want to hear about how big he is. But we have a sensor bar right there.
You can't resist the mighty Robotnik.
Let's move on quickly before I get nightmares. To the Rampage of Mechanic. Anyone wants to do synopsis?
I'll give it a go. Let me just quickly. There it is.
Robotnik and Grimer on a romantic date. Go ahead.
Yeah. Robotnik, along with Grimer, explore the abandoned Emerald Hill Zone, with him reminiscing of how thriving it once was and seeing all the citizens panic over badnik attacks. But then Sonic ruined it all by taking the citizens away from him. Grimer attempts to cheer Robotnik up by saying, "Don't worry, there are other zones besides Emerald Hill Zone." And he's like, "There is?"
Wow, the comic actually acknowledges this a bigger world than just Emerald Hill
Exactly,
Zone.
because it's like he's always attacking Emerald Hill Zone, and yet now, like Grimer says, "But there's other zones you could attack." Like, oh, is there? I thought there was only Emerald Hill. But yeah.
Yeah, that's such a problem with Fleetway. He feels so small sometimes. Like, they want to make him feel big and epic, like Robotnik takes over the world. Yeah, it's always focused on one little town.
But yeah, Robotnik agrees to this and sets his plans to cause havoc in the Stone Tower Zone by unleashing a giant T-Rex looking robot called Mechanic. Fortunately, Sonic, Johnny and Amy are in Stone Tower Zone from a tip-off. Something big happening. Sonic makes an attack on Mechanic, but didn't even dent its armor, with them barely avoiding Mechanic's tail swipe, with Sonic wondering where Tails is, where of course they caption like a future story. Shortfuse the Cybernik, yay, he returns, and attempts to destroy Mechanic, but even his lasers aren't causing much damage. So Shortfuse teams up with Sonic in an attempt to take it down, whilst Johnny and Amy have been given the important responsibility of distracting it. You know, two small people trying to face against a gigantic robot. See his pie.
Sure.
But yeah. But they managed to distract the Mechanic long enough for Sonic to basically spin attack it, which once again has zero effect, and Mechanic retaliates by blasting its like flame breath on Shortfuse, who sends in a fiery spiral down to the ground, and Mechanic grabs Sonic and holds him close to the mouth as like, time for some barbecued hedgehog, yeah.
In the final panel, I know it's the red button that's supposed to be the eye, but it's kind of funny to imagine a blue eye and a button being the eye, because then he's a really derpy face here. In the final panel.
Oh yeah. So yeah, with that one tiny like dot there, it's like
Yeah.
big eye.
Yeah, it looks like something out of a Tim Burton project.
Speaking of dumb face expressions, I love the crow you see in the upper corner in the second page when we get introduced to the new town.
Yes, Bobby Wiz!
It's kind of funny. We go to a new town and immediately all the villagers have a completely different style, like they're from a different cartoon.
Yeah, because sometimes they look like cute cartoon characters, and other times they look more realistic, wearing clothes.
Yeah, it depends on the artist, I guess. But here it kind of makes it feel like the town itself has its own little style going on like that.
But yeah, one thing I was going to say, I'm assuming that's supposed to be a monkey, otherwise we just got like another glimpse of a normal human. And that's the one that's next to the Bro character on the top part of the panel with a basket.
Oh, right, yeah.
Hmm.
It's kind of human-ish.
So,
Then again, why couldn't there be more humans? Have we
I don't
gotten it? Because
not lately.
the Mario Brothers and Robotnik are humans, so humans
Mhm.
exist in this world.
Yeah.
But
One thing
whatever.
I might as well just like point out there is like with the first panel, and like you see like a very cheerful Robotnik there, like saying, "Oh, look how this place once thrived," and everyone panicking at Badnik sort of thing, being all like cheerfully goofy, and then that dramatic low-angled shot again, and being like, "Grr."
Back to his crush.
And you got Graham going, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's 'cause I was about to say that. It's like he really loves that angle so much that he starts like feeling Robotnik up a bit. It's like, oh, that's a very good low-angled shot. I keep the master.
Yes, do more, master. Shake that.
And of course, that facial expression he gives back in return, like, oh yes, I am.
Get a room.
What a bear.
Yeah. Let us get a room, Grimer.
No, I'm surprised I haven't seen much slash art with those two yet.
Oh yeah, no porn art. No porn art with Robotnik and Grimer. Yeah, I guess they're just too obscure for the internet to handle.
I'm sure they exist somewhere. But yeah, this whole page is kind of funny and how out of character almost is for Robotnik, being all like nostalgic and all that. Ah, good old
Yeah.
times here. Is Robotnik happy on the green hills with all the blue sky behind him? It feels so funnily out of character.
What could talk about this story is I remember this story very well because when I was reading sort of the comic much later in like 2000, they were repeating like stories from earlier issues. So I remember reading this and seeing how cool it is to take on this giant robotic dinosaur, and then you've got Short Fuse coming in making his grand entrance, and I thought, yeah, this is a really cool story.
Did you only have part one, or did you also have the other parts?
Yeah, I think I had the other parts as well because I do remember reading this one.
But yeah, Sonic, RoboCop versus a dinosaur. All while Robotnik being romantic with his Frankenstein monster. What a team up.
Yeah. One thing I think I've recalled when hearing about though, which has become a bit of a running joke with Short Fuse, is how like it often keeps being applied of like he's actually like an animal inside there, and the fact like he was once evil but then he's good, sort of thing, like ex-Bagnik type thing, and it's become like a running joke at that point where he kind of points it out at times.
Hell yeah.
Concepts to explain his backstory again.
Yeah. So like I don't know if he ever appears in any of your animations, you'll probably just have him monologuing every like time he appears on screen, like saying, "I was once normal, but then I became a Badnik."
Yeah, I better explain my backstory again.
Yeah, like he's fighting an army of bad.
voice.
Yeah, like he's fighting an army of badniks, and every one that he goes one-on-one, he always has to constantly explain his backstory. Like, oh, I'm an animal trapped in a robot. Pff, oh, I'm an animal trapped in a robot. Boom. Yeah. And it just
Either
keeps
that-
going.
Either that, or he just like punches like and destroys everything, and yet you get a moment of where like it zooms in on his head as he's fighting, and then saying like, "What happened to me? I used to be a normal animal. I didn't used to be fighting like this. I never used to be stuck in a robot machine."
I suppose it's like imagine like if Spider-Man keeps talking about, oh yeah, this is like the time I got bitten by a spider every issue,
Yeah.
or Batman talking about his dead parents all the time.
I guess so. Yeah, it would be funny, I guess, if I ever used them.
Yes.
Probably just have
I got a Joker. Nothing like my parents are dead again.
That'd be something. All right.
Yeah.
Shall we move on? Or do we want to talk about how cool Amy looks with her bow and arrow here?
Oh yeah, showing off again. It's like, I'll just aim for the in-between parts.
She has a new outfit this time. Now it's just a Scottish dress. How nice.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
kind
so-
of her standard classic look for Fleetway for a while.
Yeah, her staple outfit.
I like this one a lot more.
Hmm.
As long as it's not the stupid caveman dress, which she's going to wear later on again. Oh well.
Yeah, you'll never get away from that for a while.
Curses! My fashion senses are hurt and pain.
Yeah, she just kind of looked like a Scottish archer with that outfit. Yeah.
Yep, pretty awesome.
Braveheart. Yeah.
Oh, so he has got
Yeah, I can imagine her doing like tricks similar to that of Legolas or Hawkeye.
Yeah, she's the Hawkeye of the team.
There you go. Why not?
Yeah, they could have done her like giving her like different arrows that do different things.
That would be awesome. Sure. Maybe later on.
Yeah, I mean, she does have like the few odd sort of different type of like arrows at times, but usually it's just the normal ones that she uses. So she's skilled in all other forms of use of arrows.
And of course, Johnny with his weird stick.
Yeah, they
Car
stole
mechanic,
from the Marxier brothers.
Oh well. But right.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. Although I kind of like how Short Fuse looks when he's shut down. It looks kind of fatal. But also kind of funny how it just flies away with a swirl.
crisp. Because I remember seeing that. It's like, oh god, what's happened to him? Just
Yeah, it
because
looks
like,
pretty
it's
fatal.
just like a black, because like literally like a black silhouette, like going like.
With all the ashes behind him. Yeah, it looks pretty fatal like that. Like, well, he's dead.
Yeah, and of course, all Sonic says, worst case of bad breath I've ever seen. It's like, dude, Short Fuse could have.
Oh no! Anyway,
Sonic should have said big oof. Way better.
Exactly.
Melting Man is not amused.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Sorry, I won't making any big oof jokes for the rest of this stream. But I'll make at least 20 of them in the next stream, so there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, Judge Dredd finally gets his game, and he gets 87%. Not surprised. They want to make a lot of advertising for the game, of course.
Yeah.
Because they're the Judge Dredd guys
yeah.
here.
Only graves about it is long way between passwords. So it basically just means like long levels with barely any passwords.
Oof. I also
And
love
it's
they
got
put those red squares in there that advertise their comic. Like, by the way, we have a comic of this. Go read
Oh
it.
yeah, that one.
Yeah.
On sale at all good news agents. Crap, I have a shitty news agent. It's never going to turn up there. And of course, the little red box up there with warning: this game is not suitable for younger readers.
Good. Well, they talked about some Mortal Kombat before, and the Streets of Rage comic was pretty intense, so... it's not like the Sonic Fleetway cares that much about keeping it kid-friendly. That's why we love it so much.
Yeah, it's why they're preparing kids for the future. It's like, you know, I know this is all bad and bloody, but believe me, you'll thank us later on.
Exactly. Anyway, Total Chaotix, Part 5. Knuckles punching Metal Sonic in the face, or at least trying to. Who wants to do the synopsis?
I suppose I'll do it then if, like, no one's going to say anything.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've written it all down anyway, so yeah. Knuckles and the Metallics start fighting it out, though Knuckles is struggling a bit due to Metallics' laser blaster in its stomach, as well as being very quick in dodging attacks. The Metallic fires a big blast at Knuckles, with it trying to get confirmation that Knuckles is terminated. However, Knuckles appears from the rubble and throws a steel girder right into the Metallic's stomach, causing it to collapse to the ground. Knack eventually turns up, with Knuckles wondering where he went. Just then, Mighty lifts the wreckage that he and the other Chaotix were buried under, with them ready to take on the Metallics. Knuckles says, "Oh, don't worry, guys, I've dealt with it." And SP's like, "Are you sure?" And it just sees like the Metallics has gotten up, but this time he's got a big hole in his belly. He's like, "Oh my giddy aunt," sort of thing. The Metallics Emperor watches the events unfold, but believes they won't succeed in freeing the Omniviewer, as the conversion process is almost complete. Knack leads the others to where Omniviewer is being kept, being right into the main room of the Metallics Emperor, where they are then surrounded by more Metallics, revealing that Knack betrayed them for a good price.
Dun dun dun! Didn't see that one coming, even though they were already foreshadowing it. And of course, we know he wasn't part of Chaotic.
I'm just going to have to say this, though. For some reason, I misspelled good. So basically it's saying, like, being surrounded by more attacks, feeling that Knack betrayed them for a food price.
Well, food is expensive these days. Can't blame him for betraying his friends for that.
Yeah, indeed.
I kind of love how Metal Sonic looks at the background here. He's kind of almost like he's dancing. Like, oh.
Oh, yeah, just... Yeah, I always thought that was, like, pretty cool, just seeing, like, how Knuckles just throws a steel girder into Metal Sonic, and then Metal Sonic just gets up like it's nothing.
Just walking like a zombie or kind of wonkily. Yeah, that's a
and
pretty
of course-
brutal move, like just throwing the girder through him. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And it's
And of
really
course-
weird, swirly eyes.
Yeah. The one thing though is like of how they obviously wanted to have Knuckles kind of like swear in a way, but like mild swearing. So it's like, oh, flipping heck,
Nice.
because we can't have naughty swearing, but we can have
Yeah.
someone like throw something in like someone's stomach.
Oh yes, what's weird about that is makes Knuckles sound a bit British.
Yeah. And how he
Yeah.
comically just says peekaboo as he's just about to throw the girder.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a
peekaboo,
Bond
I
kill
see
line.
you.
And of course, with Idris Elba voicing Knuckles and being British, I can imagine him saying this.
Someone should hire him to read all these lines here. Yeah.
Yeah. So what? The moment he says like, "Oh, flipping up," and we all go like, "There he goes! He said it."
Yay!
Hey. No bone for the Fleetway Sonic fans, yeah.
Though granted, I'm still somewhat surprised the Metallics is still operational despite that big hole. Because I mean, when you look at that close-up shot, it's like, how exactly is he still functioning? Is everything literally just located in his head?
Yeah.
I suppose it'd be like the Terminator. Like no matter how many times you send it down, it still manages to get back up again.
Yeah.
Metal Sonic's pretty hardcore. Pretty metal, I guess.
Yeah. Also, like the last panel where that sort of like Dutch angled, low angle type shot of Knack and the Emperor.
Neck looks so sad and adorable.
Yeah.
Well,
It's kind of weird, like Neck. Yeah, like Neck kind of looks like, oh, my mates, give me a hug.
Or more like, hey, come on, guys, everyone makes mistakes once in a while. Or they basically give in to money.
Oh,
Die.
yeah.
I pretty much like the first panel where we see Knuckles fighting the Metallics because we hardly get. I don't think I've seen like a lot of instances where we see Knuckles going one-on-one against the Metal Sonic.
Nope.
Yeah, because I
Rarely
mean, he
happens.
almost had one. He almost had one, but he immediately just got like knocked out from a blast.
That's true.
So he had to sleep it out for that part.
What a shame. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see him fight with Metal Sonic. They really use Metal Sonic interestingly here. It's pretty awesome to see multiple of them as well. I mean, it makes sense. They're just robots. Robotics should be able to make them on a factory line. Too bad the video games have like a weird rule that it's not allowed or something.
Yeah, and it mostly makes you wonder why Eggman doesn't think to make a whole army of Metal Sonics instead of just one.
Yeah, apparently that's a no-no for Sonic Team's rules.
I thought this was maybe to save on resources or something, or they're
I
too
guess.
expensive to produce.
I guess
What's
maybe.
a
Either that
no-no
or-
from Sega?
Either that or like Metal Sonic is like, there can be only one, and then just
Oh,
kills
yeah.
all the other Metal Sonics until the strongest one survives.
That would be funny that if Robotic makes more Metal Sonic, but they'll fight amongst each other because they don't want to allow the others to win.
Exactly. It's like,
The only other time I've seen an army of Metal Sonics was in Archie Sonic, where they made the Metal Sonic Troopers, which is basically a whole army of Neo Metal Sonics.
yeah, I remember reading about that. Like, interesting premise. But of course,
Yeah.
it's like, but of course, as per usual, like if you make anything involving a Metal Sonic, it's bound to go evil and turn against everyone.
Of course.
Yeah, Metal Sonic Troopers were originally made to defend Knothole when everyone thought that Sonic had died after the Zorda War. But then, like, oh no, he's alive. Okay, let's shut the project down. And then one of Robotnik's quote-unquote children discovered the Metal Sonics and activates it and causes lots of chaos, and then they all got destroyed. But at least their scrap parts were used to rebuild Shard, the original Metal Sonic, so all of their effort didn't go to waste.
Spoilers! Maybe one day we're gonna read the Archie. No way, spoil everything, buddy.
Yeah, we'll read Dissected Alive's Archie Sonic Edition, coming in 2030.
Yeah, you're desperately hoping for it, but sadly we still have 150 Fleetways to go, so...
Yeah.
I was surprised how slow it goes since we're already in 1995. But,
Yeah,
And of course,
yeah,
sorry,
I
just
know,
saying like
like,
this.
All the
just saying
time,
like
mate.
It's just a suitable facial expression from Roger being
yeah.
shown there. It's just like being like, I don't want to go through 152 more issues of this stuff.
lovely fan art I just received from my wife. That's how she sees me every day.
Well, considering from what I've been hearing. Because apparently you always have a loud go at your computer at times.
When you come home from work and wonder where dinner is.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm the one who cooks dinner, so now I have to be angry
Yeah.
at myself.
But now,
Yeah,
like
you're
that's
ju-
the
Yeah,
facial
that's just-
expression you always put on, like when you basically just walk in to start cooking after you've had problems. Just like, just become super. I'm now gonna go cooking.
When my cat is being a little too cuddly again. Get off my desk!
Yeah, that's basically what Roger looks like when he hasn't had a Snickers. Just not yourself without a Snickers.
What do you mean? That is exactly how I am.
Yeah.
No, it's a
What?
reference to the Snickers commercials.
Yeah, I know. I had a Mr. Bean and
Nah.
that kind of thing. But
No,
that
it's
doesn't
more
work,
like-
but this is how I am, so...
Now, like I imagine, like here, Roger, have a Snickers. Feel better? Do you think one Snickers will calm me down?
This is what the Snickers turned me into. After I got my Snickers, I look like this. I want more! I'm not fat enough, damn it. But yeah, basically based on how Robotnik always looks in these comics.
Yeah.
Fitting for me.
Yeah.
I'm a big giant
So
Robotnik.
basically, yes, that's another thing. Oh yeah, so you ever wondered what Roger might look like constipated? Well, there it is. There we go, bringing back the constipation jokes with Robotnik.
Right. So, anything else to say about Emperor Dalek Metal Sonic and his goofy friends?
He looks cool. I think I remember I tried making him in Gary's mod, but that was just more of like, oh, just use a giant Metal Sonic model and then edit it in Photoshop to give it the red and yellow look.
Yeah. So no actual colouring him in like actual model colouring or anything like that.
Yeah, I didn't have that. Yeah, I don't think I had that much advanced tooling back then with editing the materials and colors and whatnot. Nah,
I don't know why, but sorry, just saying, like I don't know why, but I'm just imagining like you when you like being very cheap and such in Gary's mod that you'd basically just get a Metal Sonic, bend its legs all the way back up into itself, and then basically just plop it on a random old chair. and just say like, this is the Dalek Emperor sort of thing, and it's like, what?
Nah, what I did in the picture was I just made the Metal Sonic more bigger and then just put his body inside of the Robotnik's eggmobile thing.
Nah.
I suppose to give it that British charm, you could probably put it in Davros's chair.
Oh yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of British charm, look at the Omni viewer in the background with the first panel. You look so pathetic there.
Yeah.
Sad little
yeah.
Omni viewer.
like-
Knuckles, you're my only hope.
Oh,
Or just
too bad.
you
I
just-
thought he was like super powerful the first couple times he shows up, and I was
Yeah.
super pathetic in this one.
Yeah, just
Zordon,
shows
this
what
guy's not.
That's what happens when someone takes control of him. It's like, I am the almighty Omniviewer, and then like when he's like stuck, it's like, oh Knuckles, help me! Ah.
He was too lazy to even finish reading the Wikipedia page before he decided Knuckles was the bad guy. That's how pathetic he is.
Yeah. He doesn't know how to refresh his browser.
And there's Melting Man's masterpiece.
Yeah, this is an
Oh, yeah,
old
that
pic I did in Gary's mod.
Oh, it looks pretty cool, yeah.
Ah, yeah, thanks.
And now they
Yeah, I
all
think
do
I
a synchronized dance number.
Yeah, I think I had a little trouble with the colors, or at least the view of the Emperor Metallics, most because I don't think we ever got like a full view of the guy, at least from what I remember. So yeah, I just kind of hide his legs in the egg mobile. It's like, okay, we'll just put him in there and call it good, and then edit the colors later in post.
You lazy cheater. That's what I always do.
Oh, I have to laugh in the Speedlines page because there's a fan art picture of what looks like Vector punching Knuckles in the head, who's making a goofy face.
Oh yeah, that one. It's like, because it's like, out of the way, Knuckles, pre. Knuckles
Yeah.
seems more happy that he just got punched in the face.
I guess he's been watching Roger's Sonic Free Riders and Minutes cartoon. Now he knows how to get people.
LOL.
There
It's
we
for young
go.
Sonic. Ah.
That's your favorite joke of mine, huh? The butt sex one. That's my legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had too much fun just messing around with the whole butt sex bit when I was making YouTube poops of your shorts. I was kind of like, okay, how many do they... At first, I was kind of like, okay, how many times do they actually say butt sex? So I played through the videos like, okay, 5 times. And then after that, I just had too much fun with editing the clips. Butt sex, butt sex, butt sex, ass!
Thanks for making me regret making that thing. You evil man.
You did this to me, Roger. You did this.
Yeah, it's all my fault. I'm my own worst enemy.
Yeah. Roger apologizes, but inside he's like, good.
Yeah, join the dark side.
I have this face. Yeah, do it. Do it! More butt sex jokes.
Do it, melting man. Do it!
Or I'll bite your face off.
Don't you mean bite my bum off? With
There
the
you
butt
go.
sex jokes.
How handsome. Alright, next issue. And we have a whole new look. They changed the brand. And Knuckles and Sonic are best friends now.
Yeah.
Always thought, I mean, when I first got the issue back when it was released, I was like, ooh, it's changed. Because back then it's like mid-90s sort of thing, so stuff like that had to be like, ooh, like, rah, type sort of thing. Because they obviously had to change from the more sort of like a cartoony comic type font from the past. Now they've got to make it look cool and edgy sort of thing.
Yeah, Shadow's gonna show up in this one with a gun. Who am I kidding? They're already using guns, even in the TV version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a couple comics ago, we had the robot shoving a gun in Sonic's face. I love it.
And of course, Mega Droid gets a new look.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't put it in the viewer.
No.
Mega Droid.
Oh well,
Get some
never mind.
respect.
In the future we will.
You want to talk about it? You want to talk about the Droid's new look?
Nah, it's good. We'll talk about what because later on he'll have his own story in there, so maybe then we'll start talking about how he looks.
He looks stupid. Mega Drive M2 with a virtual reality glasses. Oh, when they thought they were gonna get virtual reality back in the late 90s. Sorry, guys, still have to wait a couple decades. But hey, you got the Virtual Boy to look forward to.
Yeah.
Or just wait a while and you can check it out over at Sega World London.
Ouch. Even more successful than the Virtual Boy. Anyway, Rampage of Mechanic, Part 2. Who wants to do a synopsis?
I'll do this one. Basically, okay, so Mechanic has Sonic in its clutches, and Johnny and Amy go in to rescue him. They found Short Fuse, who's trapped in a crater, and they get him out. And there's like, yeah, it's all right, just take him on. So Sonic is still trying to get out of Mechanic's grasp, and whilst doing that, Short Fuse blasts his hand, freeing Sonic, and takes him to safety. So then, Short Fuse has a go at Sonic. Says, "Well, if I didn't say you'd be fried," he said, "Yeah, whatever." So they both take on to take Mechanics by the legs. So Sonic gives the idea for Short Fuse to take Mechanic's legs down by focusing all its blast power on one leg, heating it up, which weakens it. So Sonic blasts. Sonic attacks his legs, which makes Mechanic says, "Ow, my bloody leg!" So he goes inside whilst Short Fuse distracts Mechanic, and so he goes inside, messes up all his electrics, and which makes him fall to bits, nearly crushing Amy and Johnny with all the metal bits. And so Sonic just says, "Oh, he's using his super speed to cause vibrations." And he also begrudgingly thanks Short Fuse as well, who flies off. Meanwhile, Robotnik has a seizure. Well, my hernia! And then Grimer says, like, "Oh, all that money came out of the taxpayers," and it's like, "Oh, I better change my tactics then." but then he suggested maybe he should make a start on Project Brutus. Ooh, what's that?
Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
Next time.
Our first glimpse at this Brutus thing.
I love
Yeah,
the
I mean,
last
yeah.
panel. Almost looks like the nose wings of Robotnik look like glasses. Like he has like a prince nose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
funny
that's,
So-
that's quite the pose that Robotnik's making in that last
Yeah,
panel.
exactly.
Where he's like, I've got a kidney stone. Ah!
Yeah, look, he's got ants in his pants.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think he's more like slipping on like the very slippery floor because of how shiny it is.
Yeah, it does.
So he's like slipping towards the
Who
camera.
polished this
Like-
floor?
It's like, oh, doctor, you better not. Careful while walking on that floor, it's still wet.
Yeah.
But
that's just
that makes
great.
sense though, because like he's on a wet floor, he slides straight towards the camera, and then you get an up close shot of him being like, yeah.
It would be funny if the last panel was him like smash against the glass with the camera on like that.
Oh, yeah, with all the cracks and everything.
Big close up of his nose and all that.
But yeah, also sort of what like a wacky sort of like look for Amy when like Mechanic's falling to bits. It's like, it's falling apart. Run!
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
yeah,
most
it's got the
extreme face she had so far.
Yeah, it's got a big mouth there, yeah.
Yeah, almost like a Muppet.
Oh, yeah. Amy the Muppet, yeah.
I like
What I
that.
like about this story is like how they strategize and using their minds when taking down Mechanic.
Yeah, they do a lot more teamwork lately, don't they? First in the prison, and now this one. I like it. That's not just Sonic being Gary Stu doing everything. Like they finally utilize the other characters a lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot of planning in this.
Makes it much more satisfying to see them fight, yeah, and isn't just Deus Ex Machina. Oh, you're Sonic. Oh, he just spin dashes them dead at the end. And
Yeah.
they actually have to be actual clever this time and use everyone's abilities. So it really does start to feel more Sonic CTM-esque. But everyone has their talents and their skill sets and all that. I like that.
Yeah, and also I like the banter between Short Fuse and Sonic. He doesn't seem to appreciate them, but after they team up, Sonic does seem to appreciate him a bit.
Yeah, that too. Sonic gets a lot more like feedback from others. Like before, it was Sonic is always like, yelling at everyone, and everyone just kind of takes it. But now with Knuckles and Short Fuse, there's finally characters kind of like fire back at him. Even Amy occasionally has her moments, so it's nice. Sonic gets more pushback. Series feels a lot more balanced now. Yeah.
Yeah. Suppose we have to thank Lou Stringer, who does the scripting.
Yeah, I guess he does
So maybe
a good job.
so maybe that's him. That's basically like having Sonic and Co be more sort of like working together to defeat the bigger problem.
Perhaps it's also because Sonic CDM has now actually been released. Maybe watching that show inspired him a bit.
Maybe. Either that or the fact Nigel Kitchen couldn't do the script for this one because he was too busy drawing.
Yeah, a lot of work, a lot of drawing to do. I kind of like the look of the villagers, even though it feels very out of place with the rest of the art. But they're kind of fun in a cartoon
Yeah,
way.
the usual Kitchen art style. Like,
Art is all over the place, but it's never boring. So credit to them
Yeah.
for that, at least. And a complicated coloring all the time. Man, it's really all hand painted and all that.
Mm.
Really
I
impressive.
do wonder if it is actually. Part of me kind of wonders if it's actually hand painted or not. But then again, it's like John Burns must have obviously done the colouring, because in the past with Kitching it's just like usually more solid colours, whilst this one's got actual lot of shading involved.
Yeah, I mean, when all the flame is happening, you actually see like a little bit of the flames on the character as shading too. So there's a lot of special effects like that, a little colory effects. Me like pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much to say. Sonic fighting a T-Rex, pretty awesome.
Yep.
Like fitting story for Luke to talk about. And indeed, Amy screaming like a Muppet is awesome.
Yeah, the new Zone Extra talking about Saturn arrives early, which I think remember hearing that actually caused more problems than being
Yeah.
positive back then. And the fact its price point was £400 back in '95, so you can imagine how much it is in today's money.
What are you talking about? The Sega Saturn? Or
Yeah, the Sega
Yeah.
Saturn.
Yep, it's coming.
Yeah, it came out before anyone was aware about it with a very high price point. And also they got schooled by Sony, who came on and gave a price point for the PlayStation at £300.
Yeah, very tragic. The beginning of the end of Sega. I love the
Yeah,
Saturn, but yeah, marketing-wise, that was a bad decision. I mean, even look at that picture. You get this like 10 boxes of different peripherals, and there's only 3 games. Like, I think your priorities are a little bit off there, buddy.
Because everyone basically working hard to finish these games for the Saturn's launch, and then suddenly they get word like, "Oh, the Saturn's already released." Like, dude, we haven't even finished this yet. We haven't even printed these.
Yeah. I mean, the 32X is still new. Knuckles Galaxy was just released. Like, oh, never mind that. Here's the Saturn already. Like, Sega, you screwed the ball here, buddies.
Yeah, even they struggled to get their Sonic title out, which was Sonic Extreme, which ended up being scrapped.
Oh, too true.
Rhino asked, "Can I ask out of curiosity why today is a pure Sonic the Comic stream?" It's because I'm lazy.
That and the fact, like, the captain's not here today, so...
That too, the captain isn't here and he's more interested in Sonic X. But yeah,
Exactly.
my job has been a little more demanding these 2 weeks. And I'm working on April Fool's, so I have a lot less spare time. That's why we take it a little bit easier and lazier today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I should probably, now that you mention it, I should probably do some work on my April Fool's project as well before I forget.
Yeah, there you go. You only have, well, you still have a couple weeks, so 4 weeks.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's safer to do it sooner because, you know, when April comes, then I'll be stressing out like hell over tax month. Yeah.
Fun, indeed. All right, Knuckles, Total Chaotix, Part 6. Anyone wants to do synopsis?
I guess I'll do this one.
Alrighty.
Alright. Alright, so... Oh, we skipped the Kid Chameleon. Okay, here we go. So now we got part 6. So now we reveal, like, oh, Knack has betrayed the Chaotix, so we can deliver Knuckles and the gang over to the Metallics so we can have his money as promised. But of course, the Emperor is like, you have served your purpose, but now you are nothing. Destroy them all. And Knack's like, yeah, but I had a feeling you'd betray me like that. But then the Metallic is like, nope, and blasts him with his energy. And then Knuckles quickly grabs the gun that Knack was pulling out. It's like, oh, I guess the Metallics don't like this. Then I'll just give him a blast of this. So he vaporizes all of the Metallics while Knack is left unconscious. And Vector, apparently off-screen, was busy re-downloading the Omniviewer to the little handheld device to rescue him. So now they go off doing their dramatic pose as they leave the Death Egg. Knuckles is transported back to Angel Island, where he's like, oh, okay, well, it's nice, and well, you saved it every day and everything, but are you sure that the Metallics haven't done any damage to you? It's like, well, honestly, I don't quite remember. There may have been some damage, but I'm perfectly fine. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we cut back to the Death Egg, where it turns out it has a backup system, and the Metallics are still up and running, and it's revealed that their big plan of capturing the Omniviewer was that they could copy his data so that they can have their own version of the Omniviewer to travel through time and space so that they can conquer everything and nothing will stand in their way against the Brotherhood of Metallics.
Dun, dun, dun. That's pretty dramatic. The end. All right.
The end for now.
For now, indeed.
Yeah.
Man, I love how much they're using guns in this one. We made a joke before about Shadow. And yet again, here we have Knuckles with a big detailed machine gun in his hands.
Yeah, I do like the ability he has where he hides it in his hat, and when it tries to be small, and it gets bigger.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome, too, yeah.
Also, take a note of that, because he kind of uses that ability a bit in a later strip.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't get to use it in this one.
Well, I suppose he ain't enough room for a small disruptor in his hat.
Yeah. But I'm kind of disappointed how pathetic the Metal Sonic's lasers are, because a couple characters get shot head on, and yet it doesn't really have an effect. Yeah. I mean, I guess it hurts and knocks them out for a bit, but that's about it.
And also, I do like the panel where you see Knuckles with a gun.
Yeah. Like, okay, freeze, Metallics. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, first Sonic had a gun, and now it's Knuckles' turn.
But
Man,
again,
I
that's
wish
like
there was an option in Team Chaos.
And everyone complained about Shadow having a gun.
Yep.
Yeah, these boys were doing it years before Shadow's game was a thing.
You British were used to it already. You got prepared.
yeah, preparing everyone. But even then, by that point, everyone forgot about Fleetway, and then when they saw the Shadow the Hedgehog game, it's like, "Are you using gun? Outrageous!"
Yeah, Shadow having a gun. Everyone's like, "Oh, Shadow's having a gun. This shouldn't happen in a Sonic thing." Meanwhile, Fleetway's all like, "Bitch, please! I've been doing it for years."
Yeah, it's a shame I didn't know about it because it makes a wonderful collage of all the pictures of them holding realistic guns.
Yeah. Then again, Fleetway never came out in America, so that's pretty understandable on our side of the world. Yeah.
Yet I'm pretty sure in Archie also stuff like this happens. Well, maybe not this realistic or dark. But,
Yeah, well, there were a few times they had realistic guns, which, yeah, coincidentally, yeah, Knack did have a few realistic guns in some of the old Archie Sonic issues, yeah.
yeah, because it's cool.
Yeah, it's
Whining
cool.
about it. It's cool to have a big gun. I mean, it doesn't have to be realistic. I mean, this gun isn't
Yeah.
realistic either, but it's just
Yeah.
detailed and cool looking. It's like a
Yeah,
science
looks like
fiction
some-
gun.
Looks like something you could pretty much buy a toy store at this point,
Exactly.
like a Nerf gun. Just paint it grey. It's like, there you go.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. There you go. But yeah, not much to say here. Omniviewer
I mean-
looks pretty scary in this evil form, so curious what's going to happen with that.
It's like a pirate copy, and yet he's like being the opposite, being like always very angry. It's like, I hate. Why did you make me? I hate this.
Also, the last panel kind of makes me laugh because it almost looks like a school. Like there's the big teacher and all the Metal
Yeah.
Sonics listening to the teacher.
Yeah. Now it's the headmaster talking to his like schools, like, "All right, class, I've heard you've been naughty today."
Oh, I don't want my headmaster to have that face expression. That's a cubic stare to be impressed by.
But yeah, just seeing like how in the next panel with like Knuckles holding the gun and them all shutting down, it's like this very strange sort of like effect going on. Because I mean, it's like a disruptor, so it's obviously shutting them down, but it's like, I don't know, maybe like Knuckles giving off a very unpleasant pong that just turns them off.
It's kind of abstract, yeah. It's not really like the gun shoots bullets or lasers. It just shoots like a energy.
Yeah, just
Force
like
field or
radiates
something.
energy.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of ridiculous in a way if like that was the case where like you just hold it like a gun, but yet when you use it, it just radiates like disruptive energy. But yet, and then it's like this question of like, well, why draw it like a gun?
That's a very good question. We'll never know.
Because guns are cool.
Exactly, because it's cool. That's all we get.
I've also noticed in a lot of these panels, Knuckles' dreads keep flying around. It makes him look a bit like a squid and an octopus in a way.
Yeah, the artist really loves that. Yeah, Knuckles is goes flying all over the place.
Yeah, like they never like stay down for long enough. It's always like immediately flowing, like they don't weigh anything.
Yeah, some pictures it works, especially when they're very dynamic. But when he's just kind of standing still, this is kind of weird. Yeah. Oh well,
It's
I
like-
guess the artist really loves that.
Gotta look dramatic.
Always waving in the air in the wind.
Don't know why I'm now thinking of like some of those sort of like cheesy sort of like moments involving like very hot guys with their hair flowing in the wind, like
Yeah.
sort of music
Dust.
playing sort of thing. That's kind of like how Knuckles probably is with his dreads at times.
Probably, yeah. Man, watching Mighty carry Fang feels weird because the proportions are all off. Almost looks like I drew it, with Fang's head being way too small.
Yeah, I feel like the artist gradually was moving away from like how he was originally first appeared in the first part of the story, and now just goes into sort of more of his design that he prefers.
I guess so. Oh well, makes sense. Happens when we.
Yeah, and I also I only just noticed now the final panel of the Emperor Metallics lording over the reactivated Metallics. Like, now we are going to rule supreme. Because I thought that's really cool looking.
Very cool looking, yeah. Headmaster Metal Sonic. Very angry.
Day will soon come, and I will punish you lot. for being such little shits.
Yeah.
But the final panel looks especially fun when you realize that all these tiny Metal Sonics are staring at the big Metal Sonic's crotch.
Yeah, just looking at just a blank panel with a couple of tubes pointing out. It's like, oh, there's a bit of dirt there.
Yeah, Robotnik isn't the only one that has a big secret weapon down there.
Well, especially considering how much white light is coming from that area, and the fact it's understandable they're all looking at the white light as opposed to the Emperor himself. It's like, oh, what's that light?
Just a tiny little bulb just flickering on and off.
Yeah. Like,
Good stuff.
watch the light. Dip, 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 dip. But yeah.
More terrible fan art I'm getting. Mia Stairs and Philip, I guess.
Oh yeah, the
All jokes in
yeah.
my Sonic game.
Yeah, so like after Sil posted that Angry Roger face, I just got bored. It's like, oh, let's just have fun trying to edit this. So I just
You got bored? You're talking with us, you asshole.
I don't know, I'm just.
I can imagine Roger going like, "Why are there 4-4 jokes in my Sonic game? Why? Why? Why?"
Oh, that's a bet. I should have done that. That's a better joke.
Him screaming at the monitor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just something I did for laughs. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you got some laughs, so congratulations.
No.
Oof. Yeah? What was that, Euan?
No, I just said
Lol.
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 Man, I'm starting to get a little tired, so let's move on to Rocket
Yeah.
Knight Sparkster to finish our stream for today.
Ah, yes, Sparkster's big comic. Yeah.
Last of the Rocket Knights, Part 1. So we get some lore here, which the games I think never had. You guys ever played the Rocket Knight Sparkster games?
I know about them.
I mean, I've only ever played the demo version of it on the Xbox.
The
You
new
know, the
3D
recent
one,
one.
yeah. Or 2 in the Sega Genesis, 1 on the Super Nintendo, and a new one. Well,
Yeah,
it's already more
yeah.
than 10 years old, but relatively
But yeah,
new.
this comic. Yeah, the comic though was like for me, like first introducing like the whole Sparkster thing, because I was like, never heard of this character before on a Sega console.
Nope. He had 2 games on the Genesis, so there you go. But yeah, it's kind of weird because it's the only comic book in Sonic Fleetway that isn't from Sega itself. In the later comics, you actually see Konami's logo in here, but not in the first one.
Yeah.
I guess Konami called them up angrily. Hey, what are you doing?
Hey, give us
Most
credit,
likely.
you. Yeah. But as for me, I haven't played any of the Sparkster games. I just know, like, yeah, there's 3 games, and then there was like a remake or reboot that came out that no one liked because they redesigned Sparkster and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, still he has a cool design.
True. Yeah, it's pretty awesome, and I love the gameplay with the jetpacking around. But yeah, I guess we'll just quickly go through this story. Anyone wants to do a synopsis, or is it my turn? Guess I'll do it. So, a long time ago, there were hundreds of Rocket Knights all kicking ass, but years later, Rocket Knight was, or our hero Sparkster was gone, apparently. Comes back to town and now realizes that he is a wanted man, and all the other Rocket Knights has disappeared because the villains, including this bored-looking guy and a big giant robot, have taken over town, and everyone's now against him. So Rocket Knight immediately kills everyone with their big swords and kicking everyone and making everyone explode. Pretty sure some of them are actually dead, so very kid-friendly as usual.
Yeah. Definitely Grum, the mech pilot.
He's probably dead. It's kind of a shame because he looks so funny with his sad face expressions, like, oh, I feel sorry.
Like he
for him.
woke up.
But anyway, yeah, so Sparkster is trying to figure out what's going on, so he breaks into the princess's bedroom. Unfortunately for us, he's dressed. But yeah, he's kind of talking to her, and suddenly remembers that her brain has been brainwashed. Well, that's kind of redundant, sorry. Anyway, she was brainwashed, but magically she's suddenly cured, because apparently Sparkster has magic armor that makes brainwash go away. Kind of a bullshit thing, but oh well, I guess they have to have some kind of a plot going on. But then Sparkster, being an idiot, starts staring dramatically out of the window instead of staying close to the princess. So he immediately becomes brainwashed again and sends some guards after him. So fighty fight, swashbuckling time, and then it's revealed that, oh no, the big bad guy is gonna marry the princess. So Sparkster is captured and taken away, but we get this super epic staircase room in the castle where we have a big fight. He uses rocket to knock everyone down, kills a bunch of guys, flames them apart. So it's, as usual, it's very kid-friendly again. I love it. Anyway, yeah, to get a bit of almost typical British humor where the bad guy introduces his mother. His mother is all like complaining about that the princess is too thin, not enough, not edible enough, I guess. What?
Yeah, bossing.
Exactly. I was immediately like reminding of the Monty Python Pepper Pot voices. You would just know she would have a voice like that. Like the angry mother. Anyway, yeah, so Sparks is escaping. He finds some of the guards and he starts fighting them for some reason, which is kind of pointless because if he's close, then they're going to be cured. So now he asks them to help him out. So they're walking around the castle to try to stop the wedding from happening because the bad guy wants to marry the princess for some reason.
I think it's just so that he can like rule over everything at this point.
Of course.
Officially.
Oh, what a nice villain. Even though everyone's already brainwashed to his commission, but I guess he wants to make it official. What a nice villain. Always doing everything official. But unfortunately, our villain, Sparkster, wants to stop all that. He doesn't want villains to... Even though everything is illegal. Oh, well, it's not. He's using brainwashing, I guess. Okay, fine, Sparkster, you're the good guy. Anyway, he's trying to sneak in. But alas, the brainwash power gets too powerful again in the castle, so he has to immediately lock up the soldiers again. And he goes in, but the crystal creates like a weird glass evil Sparkster that attack him all while the wedding is going on. So now we get our classical swashbuckling climax. Sparkster has to stop the wedding from happening, but first he has to fight the evil glass rocket knights. He just destroys their source. Not that it even matters by the end because all the villagers themselves are already opposed to wedding. I guess only his armor got very powerful, so he cured everyone. So the villain has to escape, jumps through the window, and through swashbuckling faction, all the villagers get their hands on the mother and try and probably murder her off screen. While the villain climbs the big tower, wants to jump at the Rocket Knight, who just dodges it with his rocket power, and he falls to his death. The end. A lot of deaths always makes me happy.
Well, supposed death.
Yeah, I guess they say he falls in a river, so he probably survived. But
yeah,
I always love it that they go out of their way to make the main villain survive, but all the mooks that died, nobody cares. Like the guy in the robot that exploded, or the couple of guards that were thrown down the staircase, they're probably dead. But they're just mooks, nobody cares. But the main villain, we have to feel sorry for them, I guess.
Yeah. One thing I kind of like couldn't help but chuckle a little bit is how in like when Sparkster is talking with the princess and he's like dramatically staring outside the window. Like in 3 different panels, his hands keep on changing position. Like 1 minute they're crossed armed, and the next one he's like literally holding onto the ledge, and then they're suddenly on his like hips. It's like I can't make up my mind what cool pose I should be in.
Now I remember of the mask salesman from Majora's Mask who like changes his pose all the time, like, or the guy from Monkey Island, that salesman.
Dan!
Yeah, exactly. He also kind of changes his pose all the time. Maybe it's like him all the time. Like, Johnny Bravo style. Look how cool I look.
And of course in that one other comic panel where like the princess calls the guards in, and of course like it's one of those rare times when like Sparks that isn't looking angry, or at least as much, because in every panel he's always looking angry.
Yeah, it doesn't have much facial expressions in this story. It just looks like he's either pissed off or just like, I gotta deal with this shit again.
Yeah.
Just like in the games, I guess.
But then again, like back then, it's like, you know, in the Western countries, like all the cute cats got to look like, you know, like they're hardcore sort of thing, like, you know, angry, ready for action type of thing. Yeah. Whilst in Japan, everyone's like all cutesy wootsy, like, yeah, let's go have some fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much how they handle the Kirby series. Yeah.
It is kind of funny how the villains are much more expressive than the heroes. Yeah, heroes are stoic.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna kill you all. He looks kind of derpy when he has his glasses on, though. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just like like with the comic panel, like how Sparks is like like seeming having the upper edge against all the guards, but then suddenly like the moment like you see the guy saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to marry the princess," so, like he suddenly just drops his sword, like shocked, like what, and then suddenly he just gets like captured by the guards.
Yeah.
Just like that one moment of shock is like more than enough, or like it's like this is a to be continued part. Watch in the next scene and we'll have you captured. There you go.
How cooperative of him. Or just sees the staircase and thinks to himself, "Well, that's a way better fighting set piece."
Yeah, basically just the way like he just pretends to jump off and then suddenly just pushes two guys to their death.
Yeah. And then burns the other guards alive.
Like extra crispy.
There we go. That's how I like my kiddie comics. With lots of death.
Intentional death.
Exactly. But yeah, Rocket Knight.
Yeah.
Cool games, fun comic. Guess we don't have
Yeah, well, I have to say I do like the art style of the backdrops, like the design of the town, the interior of the castle, and even the robot in the first story looks great.
Absolutely a very great art style.
I don't know if the games are anything like that.
They do.
kind of.
I think they do have them.
Yeah,
They do
the
have
city
mechs
looks
in
good,
there.
yeah. Not the new 3D one, it has a more basic look, but especially the 2D ones had this kind of art style.
Yeah. Because I mean, I did at least like watch some guys like retrospective on like the Sparkster game, so got like a general gist of it.
I think they did a pretty good job imitating this style, yeah.
Yeah, some references to like real world structures, like with the cathedral.
Of
Because
course.
I mean, I don't really know what the name of the cathedral is, but it really does resemble that, like that one that's still being worked upon after over hundreds of years.
Oh, I don't know, sorry.
That's fine there. But yeah, this is the only Sparkster story that they released, but they were apparently working on like a second story. But the problem was that Fleetway forgot to get like Konami's like approval and rights to basically have another comic release, so it never got released. But some of the panels do survive, as shown by the on this artist like a
Personal
page,
pages. Alright, cool. I get the feeling that even here they forgot to ask Konami for their permission. I mean, on the
Yeah.
comic page, you do see Konami's logo in the intro, but in the first chapter, you don't. So it's almost like they thought it was just a Sega series.
Yeah, like or either that or their excuse was, oh, we couldn't fit the Konami thing over the new story arc sort of thing, and they forgot to add the Konami in the next one.
That's possible, because it's only in chapter 3 where the Konami logo shows up for the first time. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I don't know the back behind the stories thing, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they forgot or just thought it was a Sega series. I mean, it resembles Sonic so closely, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, like the art that was being done though does look pretty impressive in the cancelled story.
Sure does.
Especially when you see like the king, like having that sort of like being like in the dark shadows and like red light being shown from like the fireplace, giving that ominous feel.
Sure. If I don't know where they are, but I'll believe you.
I mean, I do like the panel where the princess is going to a wedding in a massive drawn carriage with these strange-looking creatures pulling it. And you've got
Yeah,
the
that's
crowd
so
in there.
weird. I guess this is just a world where like the populations are anthrode animals, and the creatures that are actual animals are just these mutated monsters.
Yeah.
I'll get some screenshots of the game so you can see how it fits with the art style. I think that's only the first game. The second game had a slightly more cutesy look.
Yeah.
But especially this one. This was probably what the comic is based on here. The art style looks pretty close to the comic.
Yeah, I think they were basing it on the second game.
Oh.
Yeah, because I did have a quick check on like the Wikipedia, and of course it was saying about like because the second one was talking about like the main villain that's in the comic, but yeah, in the other ones, like the other villains that aren't in the comic. If that makes any
The
sense.
first game had pigs as bad guy. The second game had lizards, and the Super Nintendo game had wolves. So I guess this is based on the second game on the Genesis, or the Mega Drive.
So I think in the first game he always had his helmet on, and then the second game we see his hair or something.
Yeah, but the art style really resembles the first game more. Because here's a screenshot of the second game. You see it's immediately a lot cuter and more colorful and happier looking. So it's especially the first game that has more of that gritty look.
Yeah. Well, what about the third one? The one that's just called Sparkster.
Oh yeah, for the Super Nintendo. That's kind of in between. Although I guess the second game also had more gritty levels like this one. But yeah, so if that looks interesting to you, look, there you go. That's Sparkster. 4 games out there if you're looking for them.
Yeah.
And poor Sparkster.
Were you able to play the one that I got you, Roger?
Yes, I got all the way to the final boss, the new 3D one. Was nice. It's a good platforming, but yeah, the graphics were kind of boring.
Yeah. Well, you could blame like Microsoft's like size restrictions that they had back then.
I guess so.
Everything had to be like at least 800 megabytes back then. So obviously that's why the graphics look a bit naff.
Yeah, that's a shame. Oh well, that's the way it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there was the cathedral apparently from Spain, Barcelona. So
Yeah,
it's based on that one.
Yeah,
Barcelona.
Sagrada Familia. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, you can see it very evident where Gedel takes the princess and climbs the tower.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. But it has a bit more of a fantasy feel to it. Cool. I kind of love the fact where the villain that jumps at Rocket Knight to grab him, but then falls to his death. Because even if he did succeed hitting Sparks, he would still have died. It's always such a fun thing with villains when they just jump to their deaths to get to their
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of what happened at the end of the 89 Batman movie, where the Joker falls off the clock tower.
Well, it's kind of different. There, Batman deliberately killed him by tying up to the statue. Here, the villain jumps to his own death.
Yeah, almost like
it's kind of presented like he dies because the hero dodged him, but even if he didn't dodge him, he still would have died.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny, like, just seeing him, like, no, and like realizing, oh crap, I forgot I'm all the way up here.
Yeah.
Also, he's got a jetpack so he can fly away.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh well, bad guys. But yeah, pretty cool steampunk art style. Nice.
Oh well.
But yeah, I'm kind of tired, so I think it's about time to wrap up. Because you guys also don't sound too energetic anymore.
No.
No, I think the Coke's weighing off. The Coca-Cola.
The Coca-Cola.
Which Coke would that be? The white powder or the soda?
The drink.
All right.
Yeah.
But then again, though, I think that's the problem when I was over in the Netherlands when they asked, what drink do you want to have? And I said, I'll have a Coke. And yet Sylvia had to say, he wants a Coca-Cola.
Yeah, we don't really use that term here, Coke. And it's so irritating when you have different terms everywhere. Even though it's English, but we still say it differently. Like you say like Diet Coke, or we always say Cola Light. It's English, but yet you don't use it. So kind of wacky like that. Oh well.
Cola Light. Yeah, that's definitely a new one for me. We always just call it Diet. Yeah.
Yeah, we call it Light. So everyone has their own terms, I guess. But yeah, time to finish it off because we're all tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for watching. Wasn't a very thrilling stream this week, but yeah.
Hopefully next time.
Yeah, maybe next time with Sonic X or whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing a lot of April Fool's stuff again. Doing requests that people send in. So you guys can send in questions or topics you want us to talk about, because on April Fool's itself we have a stream. So if there's any specific topic you want us to talk about, you could throw it up. But yeah, I already have plenty of animations to make, so I'm not sure if I'm going to take more animation requests at this point. my work cut out for me. Anyway, that's my plans for this month. Euan, Melting Man, Luke, you have any plans this month?
Well, I've got to sort out stuff for my flat. And we've got builders in, plumbers, furniture, all that stuff.
Those evil plumbers. Keep your eye on them.
And those Wario and Waluigi, yeah.
Hopefully they won't get sucked into a sewer pipe and thrown into the Mushroom Kingdom.
No.
As for me, I don't know. I don't have much planned right now. I guess maybe do some work on my own April Fool's video. That's gonna be RG Sonic character files related one, and yeah. But other than that, maybe do some more fan art drawing or whatever. But not much going on. In the meantime, you can check out the my video I posted about where I finally review all the Sonic movies, so you can check that out and see my thoughts that I've been hiding for so long and yada yada.
Sure.
As well as doing a quick plug-in for one of the Dissected episodes, right? I gave my brief thoughts on the Sonic OVA, and then I just kind of ended with, if you want to hear more about my thoughts, then go check out episode 21 of Dissected Alive. So yeah, I still plug in for the live stream.
All right, thanks for the extra views if I get any.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I guess a joke is a movie 2 Dissected is still not released, says Rhino. Yeah.
Poor Sonic Movie 2 Dissected, still stuck in development hell. That could be a thing. Like, yeah, the project is stuck in development hell and it's fighting off demon monsters.
There you go.
I would so laugh that when we finally get it done is when Sonic the Movie 3 comes out.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, goodbye everyone. See you next time. Or not.
Goodbye.
Yeah,